What is that black dick connected to? That black man? So no, I was not blackballed. I was whiteballed. By some black dick who had no balls. Thank you, Mr. Lee Daniels. Thank you, Mr. Tyler Perry. Thank you, Miss Oprah Winfrey. No, baby, I wasn't blackballed. I said no balls. And see, I know they like to say, Monique, you talk too much. It would kill me not to say the real.
I would love to work with Eddie. Eddie won't return my calls.
Remember when I said earlier, I've never seen so many cowards and black men in this business? I would have to put my brother Tyler Perry in that. And I'm gonna tell you why I say that. See, when I see you do a clip and you go to T.D. Jakes' church, and I watch you write a check for $1 million in front of the congregation, and you give it to this man, was that for the congregation to give more money? Or was that really genuine?
Oprah, I'm not going anywhere until y'all take accountability and fix it.
Eddie Murphy isn't the kind of man to bite his tongue when it comes to Hollywood's dark secrets. This time, he's calling out the game for what it really is. A slick system where power players protect their image while burying the truth. According to Eddie, there's a reason why Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry get tense every single time Monique's name comes up. And it's not because she's loud or rebellious. He claims it's way deeper than that. Eddie says Monique's not just talking, she's sitting on proof, real conversations, recordings, and receipts that could flip Hollywood upside down. He's basically saying that Oprah and Tyler aren't scared of Monique's words. They're scared of her evidence. Because in Eddie's eyes, Monique is the one person who's got nothing left to lose and everything to expose. She stood her ground when she called them out, and the industry wasted no time trying to destroy her reputation, painting her as angry, bitter, and hard to work with. But Eddie's not buying it one bit. He says if Monique was all talk, she'd have been forgotten years ago. Instead, these two giants, Oprah and Tyler, keep dancing around her name like it's a live wire waiting to explode. That alone tells Eddie everything he needs to know. Monique's truth hits where it hurts. Eddie drops more heat, hinting that Tyler Perry has more to lose than anyone realizes. His carefully built empire, full of faith-based films, feel-good stories, and billionaire branding, might not be as squeaky clean as it seems. Behind the scenes, Eddie claims there are deals, private meetings, and quiet power plays that could leave serious cracks in his reputation if they ever saw the light of day. And Oprah, she's not out of the line of fire either. Eddie hints she's been fully aware of her role in silencing Monique, and if those hidden conversations come to light, her America's favorite talk show queen image might never recover.
Oprah, I'm not going anywhere until y'all take accountability and fix it. Y'all messed with my livelihood, which messes with my family. Never would I do that to anyone. So until they fix it, I won't back.
Eddie makes one thing clear. Nobody fears someone with nothing to hide. The fact that Oprah and Tyler keep dodging Monique or labeling her as difficult speaks volumes. They're not avoiding her attitude. They're avoiding her truth. In an industry obsessed with perfect images and flawless reputations, Eddie Murphy's message is loud and clear. Monique is the one woman who refuses to bow down. And according to Eddie, that's exactly why the biggest names in Hollywood are trembling behind closed doors. Let's break this down, because this story gets messy real quick. Monique came out the gate swinging, snatching that Oscar for Precious with a performance people still talk about. But when she refused to hop on a plane and do unpaid promo tours, something her contract never required, that one simple no flipped the whole industry against her. Overnight, she went from celebrated to difficult, and that label stuck like glue.
Tyler Perry and I had a conversation at the Hoodie Award. At the time, it was called the Hoodie Award, when they were trying to get me to go do all of this press internationally.
And for those that don't know, who put on that Hoodie Award?
Steve Harvey put on the Hoodie Awards in Vegas, right? So it just makes me smile the way this whole scene went down. So I'm beckoned to go into Tyler Perry's dressing room, right? I'm beckoned. So I go into Tyler Perry's dressing room, and there are about maybe 25 people on Tyler Perry's team. And he does this.
Like that? Okay.
And everyone leaves. Well, I have my security with me. And I looked at my security and like, you don't work for Tyler Perry. So my security stayed in the room. So Tyler Perry says to me, listen, you may really want to consider promoting this film. Because if you get nominated for an Oscar award, your next film is $3 to $5 million. And if you win it, your next film is $6 to $8 million. I said, Tyler, who you talking to? I'm a black woman. Where do they pay those type of salaries, brother? I said, what I cannot do, Tyler, is work for free. I've done what I was supposed to do. I cannot go overseas and do this for free, Tyler. So then he goes on about his spiel, you know. I said, well, listen, you can write me the check for me to go overseas. I don't care where the money comes from, but I'm not gonna do it for free. He says, well, I don't believe in giving money away for free. I said, I don't believe in working for free, so we're on the same.
From that moment, things spiraled. Monique says both Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey, who produced Precious, played a major role in blocking her career. She claims they blackballed her, and soon after, the offers stopped coming. Suddenly, this Oscar winner was treated like she didn't belong in the same room she helped build. But it didn't stop there. Monique dropped a bomb when she revealed she recorded a private call with Tyler Perry himself, and in it, he allegedly admitted it was wrong to brand her difficult when all she did was stand by her deal. According to Monique, that lie didn't just hurt her image. It cost her 12 long years of work and millions in missed paychecks. And she's not looking for some quiet apology in the shadows. She wants them to make it right, publicly, loud enough for the same people who turned their backs on her to hear it. Because in her words, the damage didn't just hit her wallet, it hit her family, her peace, and her name. Now, the Oprah side cuts even deeper. Monique says Oprah went too far when she invited Monique's estranged family, including her brother, who admitted to molesting her as a child, onto her show without asking her first. That kind of betrayal, Monique says it left scars that no apology has ever healed. And while she's since patched things up with Lee Daniels, she's still waiting for Oprah and Tyler to do the same, not in private, but in public where the hurt began. Then we shift gears to Taraji P. Henson, a powerhouse in her own right. From hustle and flow to empire, she's been proving her range and worth nonstop. But even with all that talent, Taraji has been brutally honest about how Hollywood treats black women. She said it plain, it's about money. Are you bankable? She's had to fight tooth and nail to get what she deserves. Here's where Tyler Perry steps back into the picture, this time as the hero. Taraji revealed that for years, she'd been asking for $500,000 per role, and nobody in Hollywood was willing to pay it. Then came Tyler Perry, and he finally wrote that check. He didn't just meet her price, he validated her worth. That payday wasn't just about cash, it was about respect. That move changed everything for Taraji. Once Perry paid her what she was worth, the industry had to catch up. She was no longer taking big roles for small checks. She set a new bar for herself and everyone watching. Now, when you line these two stories side by side, Monique's and Taraji's, the contrast is wild. For Monique, Tyler Perry and Oprah are the ones accused of shutting doors in her face. But for Taraji, Perry was the one opening them. It shows just how tricky Hollywood's power game really is. Who gets lifted up, who gets locked out, and how fast those tables can turn depending on who's writing the checks and who's brave enough to say no. When you really start connecting the dots, this whole situation looks less like coincidence and more like a cold, calculated game, full of exploitation, image control, and fake compassion dressed up as industry love. Monique stood her ground and said no, and it cost her everything. Taraji P. Henson, on the other hand, demanded her worth and got rewarded. And that's the real question Eddie Murphy wants people to think about. Who gets punished? Who gets praised? And why saying one simple no can flip your whole career upside down. According to Monique, Tyler Perry himself is the one who started the rumor that branded her hard to work with. Not gossip, not speculation. Him! And she says she has him on tape admitting it. That's right. Monique says she legally recorded Perry's own words just to protect herself because she knew if she didn't have hard proof, it would always be her word against his. In Hollywood, power usually wins, and Perry's name carries major weight.
And then fast forward.
Things,
Everything kind of comes out with Lee, Oprah, and there's an audio conversation that you guys had with Tyler.
I got a call on my cell, and her and I would just so happen to be standing together. And that's when he called me in looking for Monique to say, hey, I'd like to speak with y'all because I heard your podcast, I can hear the hurt, and you heard the audio.
For the viewers listening, we're gonna play the audio now.
The community is involved, and they want to see how it's going to play out. Because the community is saying, wait a minute, hold up. We don't know this sister to be no bull. We know she a loudmouth. We know she'll say some at the wall. But what we know about it is she true to her word.
And all I would ask you is two questions. The first question is, did you not just say it was wrong?
Tyler.
Did you not just say it was wrong, Tyler? To say she was difficult for not doing something that she was not contractually obligated to do? Did you not say that you would feel that that was wrong? Or am I missing something?
I absolutely said that, yes.
So the question I would say is,
is there a number? Taking that back to them was just a huge problem, okay? And I'm listening to David Halbert thing in a minute because I just watched your podcast, and it really broke my heart because number one, I feel you. I feel the sadness that's from you in all of this. And I don't want you to feel that. I mean, especially for me. I can't speak for anybody else. But for me, I'm not anyone that wants to hurt or offend anybody, especially you. I think you are brilliantly talented. I think you should have a lot more happening since you led a war. I thought for sure that if you had campaigned and won it and played by their rules, what would happen is in the next deal, you would have gotten more money, millions of dollars, and your career in the film would have been much different. I believe that much in your talent. So it's saying all of that, I just say it's just heartbreaking because I don't ever want you to think that I'm out trying to blackball or say anything. Please give me what I say. I'm not trying to hurt you. I would never try to hurt you.
Monique told Shannon that what Tyler did didn't just hurt her, it cost her family tens of millions over the years. Before the fallout, she was pulling in $2 to $3 million annually. But after that difficult label got stamped on her name, the calls stopped coming, movie offers vanished. And even when she was being considered for massive roles like Cookie on Empire, the word came back that she'd been blacklisted as a problem. Imagine that. Now, not losing work because you're untalented or lazy, but because one influential man whispered a lie and let it spread like wildfire. That's career sabotage at the highest level. And when Monique tried to hold him accountable, Tyler allegedly flipped the script, saying he'd only meet with her if her husband, who also manages her, wasn't in the room. That's shady behavior, no question. Think about it. Why block the one person who's been managing and protecting her for years? Why try to isolate her unless you don't want someone calling you out face to face? Monique said it loud. Hollywood doesn't like her husband because he's direct, unfiltered, and won't let them manipulate her. And that's exactly the kind of person people like Perry don't want around when they're being confronted. Here's the wild part. Monique says Perry admitted on tape that he spread a lie about her. And even after that came out, the silence from the industry was deafening. She said big names like Al Sharpton, Kevin Hart, and Stephanie Mills reached out to support her. But then the calls started fading, the meetings stopped, and the partnerships disappeared. Even Kevin Hart, who once publicly said he believed in her, allegedly pulled away after his management got involved. According to Monique, it's the same pattern every time. The minute someone powerful feels threatened, they make sure everyone around the truth teller goes quiet. People who try to stand with you get pushed out, pressured, or straight up silenced.
What is that black to that black man? So no, I was not blackballed. I was whiteballed by some black who had no balls. Thank you, Mr. Lee Daniels. Thank you, Mr. Tyler Perry. Thank you, Miss Oprah Winfrey. No, baby, I wasn't blackballed. I was some no balls. And see, I know they like to say, Monique, you talk too much. It would kill me not to say the real. Would kill me not to say the real. You are not paying me equally. You are not treating me fairly. So y'all can suck my head.
But here's what makes Monique different. She's not going silent again. She's not backing down, not deleting receipts, and definitely not letting Hollywood rewrite her story this time. She's got the evidence, the experience, and now the attention. And this time, she's coming with everything. What Monique revealed in that interview was straight up chilling. She compared Tyler Perry's actions to being beaten down in public, then having people question why she recorded it instead of focusing on the fact that he admitted what he did. That's the part that hit hardest, the way power flips the script, making the victim defend herself while the one in control plays innocent. She told Shannon point blank, what Perry did wasn't just business, it was personal. She said it felt like he robbed her family blind, taking millions off the table, robbing her of over a decade of opportunities, and leaving her to rebuild from scratch. Monique made it clear she's not bitter. She's determined to make Perry own up publicly to the truth he already confessed in private, determined to reclaim her time, her name, and her power. And more than anything, she wants to break the cycle, so the next black woman who dares to set boundaries doesn't end up sitting in her seat 10 years later telling the same painful story. This isn't just a feud about fame or ego. Monique says this was exploitation, pure and simple, a calculated erasure, a power move meant to control a woman who refused to play along. And she's still asking Perry the same question that's been echoing for years. How are you going to make it right? Eddie Murphy has made it clear he's watching this unfold with both shock and respect. In his eyes, people are underestimating Monique. Big mistake. He says that audio recording of Tyler Perry admitting he lied might be what everyone's talking about, but it's only the tip of what's coming. Eddie's been in Hollywood long enough to know that when someone says they've got receipts, it's never just one file. It's a whole vault. He believes Monique has been patient, strategic, and quietly building her defense for years. Eddie thinks Perry has been playing with fire, pretending like Monique will stay quiet forever, when in reality, she's sitting on evidence that could shake his empire to its core. And Eddie doesn't mince words. If Monique ever decides to let it all out, it won't be pretty. We're talking recordings, text messages, emails, private conversations, things that could expose the truth behind the perfect image Perry's built over the years. Eddie said it best. Once those receipts drop, there ain't no PR machine on earth strong enough to spin it away. He's seen this story before. The powerful fall when they underestimate a comedian with nothing left to lose. Eddie's watched entire careers crumble under the weight of evidence that finally saw daylight years later. And that, he says, is exactly why Tyler Perry's nervous now. It's one thing to deny gossip, but it's a whole different game when someone's holding proof. Once those recordings, messages, and receipts hit daylight, you can't hide behind charm or charity. You've got to face what's real. And Eddie's convinced Monique's got every piece of it locked and loaded. He even hints that Oprah knows it too, which explains why she treads so lightly whenever Monique's name comes up. Eddie says Oprah understands that if Monique ever opens that vault, her name could end up right in the middle of the storm too. Eddie's blunt about it. If Tyler Perry keeps calling Monique bitter or crazy, if he keeps poking at her like she's powerless, he might just push her too far. Because if Monique decides to press play on those recordings, it won't just be gossip blogs eating it up. It'll be every major outlet in the country covering it. Once that happens, the question won't be whether Monique was right. It'll be whether Perry's entire empire can even survive the fallout. And Eddie's final word is sharp. Monique's got the kind of evidence that can change the narrative forever. Tyler knows it. Oprah knows it. Hollywood knows it. And if they're smart, they'll stop underestimating her before she decides to make the truth public. Because let's be real, everyone's scared now. Monique isn't backing down anymore. She's already laid it all out. According to her, Tyler Perry told a lie that cost her 12 years of her career and millions of dollars that should have gone to her family. She said he admitted it on tape and even promised to make things right back when his movie, Boo, came out in 2016. But years later, that promise is still hanging in the air, and Monique's done waiting. But here we are, nearly a decade later, and Tyler Perry still hasn't made things right with Monique. And let's be real, that's not something you just sweep under the rug or pray will fade away with time. Monique sees it as a calculated move from a man she says carries what she calls a God complex, someone who believes he's untouchable, like he can move however he wants and never face the consequences. Monique made one thing crystal clear. No amount of charity or grand gestures can erase what he did. Sure, Perry might hand out $3,000 tips or buy homes for strangers, but that doesn't undo the years of pain, loss, and humiliation she went through. it doesn't erase a decade of lost opportunities or the millions that vanished from her family's future until Perry fixes it publicly, the same way he publicly shamed her. Monique says she's not letting up, not for a second. And when she says fix it, she's not talking about some PR stunt. She means two real things, a public apology and restitution. She's demanding both because in her eyes, that's not revenge. That's justice. She's not begging for sympathy or asking for handouts. She wants the truth acknowledged and the damage repaired in full view of the world that watched it happen. Monique also spoke on something deeper, and it hit hard. She said that when powerful men in Hollywood can ruin a black woman's livelihood and walk away untouched, it's not just about her anymore. It's about every woman coming up behind her. It sets a dangerous message that people with money and influence can do whatever they want to black women in the industry and never be held accountable. That's exactly why she refuses to back down now. She's not just fighting for herself anymore. Her words were cold, calm, and unshakable when she warned, if Perry doesn't make it right in life, then the universe will handle it in death. That wasn't a threat. It was truth spoken from someone who's seen karma circle back too many times to doubt it. You could hear in her tone that she's been through enough to never be silenced again. Now here's where it gets interesting. Eddie Murphy and Tyler Perry weren't always on opposite sides. Once upon a time, they actually had a solid relationship. Perry used to praise Eddie publicly, calling him one of his biggest inspirations. And for a while, it looked like Perry was dying to team up with the comedy legend. He dropped hints in interviews, saying that working with Eddie Murphy would be a dream project for him. But guess what? That dream never came true because Eddie never gave him the green light. According to Perry, every time he reaches out, Eddie just doesn't respond. No follow-up calls, no meetings, nothing but silence. And that silence speaks volumes. You've got one of the most powerful producers in Hollywood chasing a legend for a collaboration and getting ghosted. That kind of rejection cuts deep, especially for someone used to being in control. Perry's even mentioned it in interviews, saying he doesn't understand why Eddie keeps his distance. But what he doesn't tell people is why. He makes it sound like Eddie's too busy or maybe just difficult to pin down. But according to people close to Murphy, it's much deeper than that. Eddie's seen sides of Tyler Perry that made him decide he doesn't want any part of that world. And that's the thing about Eddie. He's not petty. If he distances himself from someone, there's a reason. He's intentional, strategic, and never messy for no cause. Word is, Eddie feels like Perry talks big about lifting up black artists, but doesn't actually walk that talk. Sure, he's got the giant studio, the press interviews about legacy, and the headlines about opportunity, but Eddie thinks it's all for show. Behind the scenes, he sees a man who benefits from the struggles of black talent more than he actually empowers them. And to be fair, Monique and Taraji aren't the only ones who've said something similar. There's a long list of artists in Hollywood, some loud, some quiet, who've all hinted at the same problem. They've watched the way Perry operates, and they're starting to question whether the empire he built is really about uplifting the community or just about controlling the narrative that keeps him at the top. Tyler Perry might have power, money, and a massive studio with his name on it, but that doesn't mean everyone's buying what he's selling. One of his loudest critics has always been Spike Lee, and if there's one thing Spike is known for, it's saying exactly what's on his mind. He doesn't sugarcoat, doesn't backtrack, and when it comes to Perry's movies, he's been brutally honest. Spike flat out called Perry's films coonery and buffoonery, saying they don't lift up black culture, but instead feed into the same tired stereotypes white Hollywood has been milking for decades. In Spike's eyes, Perry's movies aren't just goofy comedies, they're dangerous portrayals that keep real black stories stuck in the background while exaggerated caricatures take the spotlight. That critique cut deep. Perry didn't take it lying down either. He clapped back, reminding everyone of his box office success, his billion-dollar brand, and the loyal fans who show up every time a Madea movie drops. But numbers don't silence the criticism, because Spike wasn't the only one saying it.
Hearing all this noise, man, it was crazy because there were no black people on television. Before diversity became a thing, Tyler Perry was the only one out there for a long time.
Behind closed doors, plenty of actors, writers, and directors in the black creative community have whispered the same thing. They may not be bold enough to say it on camera, but they see the problem. Perry's empire, for all its success, still leans on outdated tropes instead of pushing forward with new, authentic storytelling. To some, the Medea character is hilarious, a piece of culture that brings laughter and comfort. But to others, it's an overblown stereotype that overshadows the depth and beauty of Black identity. It's entertainment, sure, but at what cost? Even inside Hollywood, there's talk that Perry keeps an iron grip on his projects, writing, directing, producing, and calling every shot himself. He rarely brings in new writers or gives upcoming Black filmmakers the creative space to shine. People say he runs his studio like a one-man empire. His word is final, his name on every credit, his voice in every script. That kind of control might sound impressive, but it also shuts the door on growth. It limits the kind of diversity of thought that could make his stories stronger. And that's exactly what frustrates so many other artists. They see the platform, the money, the influence, and they wonder, why isn't he using it to elevate others instead of just himself? So, when Spike Lee steps forward and calls Perry's work stupid and damaging, he's not just being petty. He's saying out loud what a lot of others have been thinking quietly for years. And the fact that those criticisms keep echoing from respected voices shows something real. Monique isn't some isolated case. She's part of a much bigger conversation about accountability, representation, and truth in Black Hollywood. Now, Eddie Murphy, who's been around long enough to see all sides of the game, is paying close attention. He sees the pattern forming. Perry's not just battling one frustrated actress or one outspoken director. He's facing a growing chorus of people questioning what his legacy really stands for. Because let's be honest, when the applause fades and the headlines move on, what will be left behind? A trail of hurt relationships, silenced voices, and controversy, or a real legacy built on empowering others? So what do you think? Is Tyler Perry being unfairly attacked, or are people finally calling him out for the truth? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. I post stories like this every week, breaking down the hidden drama, shocking truths, and untold secrets of your favorite celebrities. See you in the next one.
It doesn't mean I am breaking down. But I couldn't figure out how to separate it, because generally speaking, I was being hired to be slivers of myself. Everything just feels personal, and you feel naked and completely vulnerable and humiliated.
For Tyler Perry to admit he did start a rumor that I was difficult to work with.
Gabrielle Union was never known for causing drama or burning bridges. But 13 years ago, she made a bold move. She dipped out from one of the biggest powerhouses in Black Hollywood and never looked back. Now, after staying quiet for over a decade, Gabrielle's finally spilling the truth. And it's way deeper than low paychecks. What she witnessed behind closed doors left her shaken and furious.
Step up and question more. And it was in the questioning amongst greatness that I was like, this feels great. I feel like I did something here.
It wasn't just about her. It was about how the women around her were being treated. She tried to speak out. She tried to stand up. But in Tyler Perry's empire and under Oprah Winfrey's massive influence, being real like that, it comes with a price. And Gabrielle paid it in full.
Never settle for anything less than what I want and what I deserve.
This wasn't some messy public fight or tabloid feud. Nope, it was way more strategic, quiet, icy, the kind of Hollywood fallout nobody wants to admit happens. Because out there, keeping your mouth shut isn't just about playing nice, it's a survival tactic. And Gabrielle, she chose not to play that game anymore. The last time she showed up in a Tyler Perry movie was way back in 2012. Since then, nothing. No cameos, no guest spots, not even a quick walk-on in his billion-dollar Atlanta studio. For someone who used to be right in the mix, her absence is loud. And now, after 13 long years, Gabrielle is finally breaking the silence. She's laying it all out.
You stand up for nothing, you'll fall for everything.
And where it all started might not shock you. Like most Hollywood stories, it began with money, or more like how little of it was being handed out. Gabrielle Union isn't staying quiet anymore, and she's making that crystal clear. She's now one of the loudest voices in Black Hollywood when it comes to unfair pay. And at the 2025 American Black Film Festival during Allie's Sisterhood and Savings panel, she let loose. She didn't sugarcoat it. Gabrielle shared how her team used to say, "No, that's a great number for you." And then it hit her. For me? Compared to who? Compared to what? That little phrase stopped sounding friendly and started sounding shady real fast. Behind the scenes, something powerful was brewing. Gabrielle linked up with her trusted crew, Regina Hall, Nia Long, and Regina King. And they weren't just catching up, they were comparing contracts. Who was getting paid what? Who was being lowballed? Who was getting pushed out while someone else got bumped up? This wasn't about landing just any gig anymore. It was about protecting their worth, their legacy, and demanding real economic justice. Gabrielle even recalled a moment that made her blood boil. While working on a major project, she found out the second lead was making more than her.
You know, I put in the same hours as most men, and if not more, and I deserve to get paid the same. Equal pay, equal work, and that's how it should be.
That moment wasn't rare either. In Black Hollywood, it was way too normal. Powerful women constantly getting sidelined, even when they were the stars of the show. But Gabrielle and her circle didn't just vent about it, they took action. They got organized, they laid down the rules, they even turned down roles. Everyone had their strategy and they stuck to it. And guess what? It worked. Studios had no choice but to crawl back to the table. And yes, number one finally got the paycheck she deserved. But that victory came at a price, especially in Tyler Perry's world, where silence is golden and control is everything. Still, Gabrielle didn't back down. She started speaking out even more, breaking open the secrets behind contracts and calling out shady deal structures out loud. Gabrielle Union became the one everyone called when things got shady. Young actresses started reaching out when those sketchy contracts landed on their desks, and she schooled them how to push back, how to say no, how to walk away with their dignity intact. But every time she helped another woman get stronger, Gabrielle found herself drifting farther away from Hollywood's power players, especially the ones who had their names on the buildings. This wasn't some messy beef or Hollywood catfight. It ran way deeper than that. Gabrielle wasn't just stepping away from Tyler Perry. She was walking out on a whole system that only showed her love when she stayed quiet and played nice. And the second she stopped playing by their rules, boom, she stepped straight into something way darker, that hidden blacklist no one wants to admit exists. In Hollywood, asking the wrong questions can cost you everything. She wasn't alone either. Across the industry, Black actresses were getting quietly punished for knowing their worth, and Gabrielle's voice, it was getting louder and scarier to the ones in control. She said it best herself, the fake support disappears fast when you stop accepting crumbs. The minute you set boundaries or say, "I'm not working for less than I deserve," suddenly you're not inspiring anymore. Now you're difficult. And in Tyler Perry's inner circle, that label don't come off easy. Gabrielle wasn't imagining it. The whispers got real. Roles vanished without warning. Writers dropped overnight for asking about union rights. She'd seen it happen. House of Pain writers, gone. Meet the Browns crew, replaced. And it was always the same pattern. In her world, the message was loud and clear. Speak up, yeah, and you might be next. And standing in the middle of it all, Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey, billionaires with public platforms all about empowerment. But behind the scenes, Gabrielle started to see the cracks. That support they preached, it seemed to vanish the moment you stopped staying silent. Everything shifted the moment Gabrielle Union started speaking up. When she stayed quiet, the support was there. But the second she asked real questions, it disappeared, fast. She never had to call Tyler Perry or Oprah monsters. She didn't need to. The pattern said it all loud and clear. They knew the rules of the game, and they weren't trying to break them. While Hollywood showered Perry with praise for building a studio and hiring Black talent, Gabrielle was looking deeper. Her question was simple but sharp. At what cost? And more importantly, who gets left behind? Gabrielle wasn't just talking about herself when she opened up about pay gaps and being pushed to the sidelines. She was throwing up warning signs for everyone. And by 2024, it was clear she wasn't the only one watching the system fall apart from the inside. That's when actor Christian Keys dropped a bombshell out of nowhere.
He showed up to my apartment and offered me $100,000 to take my clothes off. He said, "I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you."
He wasn't a newbie. Keys was respected, an actor, writer, and the co-creator of All the Queen's Men. a hit BET Plus show produced by none other than Tyler Perry Studios. And even though he never dropped names directly, his story had people putting the puzzle together real quick. He described being targeted by a billionaire filmmaker. He talked about secret cash offers, recorded convos, and hush money deals hitting 6 figures. Keys claimed he had receipts, actual tapes. He even said he'd been followed, and he hinted loudly that the abuse wasn't just personal, it was built into the system, calculated, cold.
Sell my soul or my... Excuse my French, y'all. I know some of y'all, hopefully y'all don't have no kids around, but I didn't sell nothing for success.
And every sign pointed to one man, Tyler Perry. Keys never said it outright, but maybe he didn't have to. The internet caught on instantly. Then came another twist. Just days after Keys' video exploded online, a TikTok clip from actor Brandon JJ popped up, and it only added more heat.
Mr. Perry comes in, everything changes. So we literally run the entire episode for him, and he hates it. Does that mean I have to learn a whole new script? Yes, that's what it means.
Jay's story was different, but the vibe, way too familiar. He said he auditioned to play a regular high school kid, just a simple role, a bullied teen. But on shoot day, everything flipped. Perry allegedly changed the entire storyline on the spot, without telling him. Suddenly, Jay's character was rewritten as a gay teen with a crush on his bully. No heads up, no prep, no chance to process. And when Jay tried to speak up, he was told point blank, adapt or leave.
The director is kind of standing on the side like, you better do it, because if not, they will fire you.
No warning, no consent, just pressure to fall in line or get out. That wasn't direction, that was straight up coercion. This wasn't just about inappropriate changes, it was about power. The kind of control that can flip the script in a second. The kind of pressure that turns a job into a threat. And Gabrielle Union had been warning us about this for years. Now, the proof was pouring out in the open. People started wondering, if Perry could do that in front of cameras, what was really going on behind the scenes? Gabrielle didn't need to speak on the Christian Keys situation. She stayed quiet. But the message, it was already out there. The industry was finally starting to catch up to what she'd been signaling all along. Hollywood doesn't protect the ones who need it. It protects the ones who run it. And Gabrielle, she was done playing nice in that game. She had spent years watching her peers get torn down, underpaid, recast, rewritten, or just straight up tossed aside. But when she saw how far the machine would go to silence women who didn't fall in line, that's when everything shifted for her. It wasn't just about stepping back from Tyler Perry. It was about walking away for good. And her breaking point wasn't some explosive argument or viral moment. It was the slow, steady grind, the subtle shade, the blatant unfairness, the freezing cold reactions when she dared to speak her truth. That's what pushed her out for good. And she wasn't the only one feeling that chill. Tiffany Haddish knew the silence too. At one point, she and Tyler Perry were tight, like public tight. She hosted his dinners, popped up at his parties, moved in all the same Hollywood circles. But when Haddish got hit with a messy lawsuit, a case that was later tossed out and proven baseless, guess what happened? Everyone vanished.
Everything. All my gigs gone.
Really?
Everything gone.
His face, you know?
I don't know, bro.
Especially Perry. Not a single person from Tyler Perry Studios stepped up to defend her. No public words of support. Nothing. Even after she was cleared, Gabrielle took note. She saw exactly how those so-called powerful friends move when things get messy. The silence, loud, the loyalty, fake. And Perry wasn't just icing out women. Behind the scenes, he was doing the same to the very writers who helped build his empire. Remember when 4 writers from House of Pain got fired just for asking for union contracts? Yeah, that was Tyler Perry. And when the Writers Guild of America called him out for unfair labor practices, did he apologize? Nope. Did he try to work things out? Not even close. Instead, Perry doubled down and made a big, bold announcement. He would write every single episode of every show, all by himself. Some folks clapped like it was genius, but to people like Gabrielle Union, it didn't scream brilliance, it screamed control. It looked like fear of giving up credit, fear of being challenged, and most of all, fear of having to pay people what they actually deserve. Gabrielle had been paying attention. She'd watched studios hand out checks, and the pay scale wasn't just random. Black women were getting the short end, again and again. White women, black men, they were getting more, and they were getting it faster. She saw what happened to Monique too, punished for simply asking to be paid for her time promoting a film. Labeled difficult for wanting fair treatment, Gabrielle wasn't shocked. She'd seen the pattern too many times. She was just over it, because every time she opened her mouth, someone would lean in and say, "That's a great number for you." And she finally understood what that meant. It meant, be grateful you're even allowed in the room. But Gabrielle, she wasn't begging anymore. She was building her own damn table. Tyler Perry might have been the first to let Gabrielle down, but he definitely wasn't the only one. Right next to him stood someone she once looked up to, a woman who built her legacy on kindness, on lifting others up, on giving the voiceless a platform, Oprah Winfrey. Gabrielle had admired her. She believed in that message of sisterhood and support. So when things got messy, she looked around, hoping Oprah would speak out, offer backup, say something. But Oprah, nowhere to be found. Her silence didn't feel like neutrality. It felt intentional. Gabrielle started to see it for what it really was. Oprah's silence wasn't just quiet, it was calculated. Gabrielle Union wasn't the only one peeping the silence or feeling the sting. Monique had already been sounding the alarm years before anyone else caught on. Once celebrated by Oprah herself, Monique's fall from grace started in 2009, right after Precious blew up. She gave a powerhouse performance, took home an Oscar, and then got hit with the difficult label. Why? Because she refused to do unpaid international press she was never contracted to do. She stuck to her agreement, kept it professional, and made it crystal clear she wasn't going to work for free. And just like that, everything flipped. Behind the scenes, Monique says Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels teamed up to shut her out of the game. She claims Perry straight up lied to executives, calling her problematic and refusing to correct it, even after admitting in private that it was a lie. Monique didn't just lose gigs, she lost over a decade of her career. According to her, she was pulling in $2 to $3 million a year before the fallout. That adds up to tens of millions gone, all based on a lie Perry admitted behind closed doors but never owned up to publicly.
Do you know, Shannon, that's cost my family tens of millions of dollars?
But for Monique, the worst betrayal wasn't the money, it was personal. She says Oprah invited her estranged parents onto her show after Monique had confided in her privately about the trauma and pain tied to that relationship. That move, it cut deep. She called it the ultimate betrayal. And when Oprah finally spoke on it, she didn't take real accountability. On a group panel, she gave what Monique described as a weak, vague apology, saying, "If I've done anything wrong, I apologize." To Monique, that wasn't an apology. It was a dodge, a way to look remorseful without owning a thing. And just when it couldn't get messier, Monique says Tyler Perry pulled her aside during the Precious promo tour, called her into a private room with staff all around. She wasn't playing, so she brought her security with her. And according to her, as soon as Perry shut the door, his own team scattered like they already knew how things usually go down. That moment, it wasn't just shady, it was terrifying. And it confirmed exactly what Monique and later Gabrielle had been saying all along. In certain Hollywood circles, power protects power, no matter the cost. Monique says Tyler Perry tried to pressure her into doing international press for free. He dangled a promise of a $3 to $8 million future payday if she'd just fall in line. But when she stood her ground and said no, Perry backed off, only to later join the Whisper campaign that dragged her name through the mud anyway. And the shade didn't stop there. Monique revealed that even Reggie Wells, Oprah's former makeup artist, overheard Oprah say she'd never pay Monique a dime, even though she knew Monique deserved it. That cut deep. It wasn't just a paycheck being denied, it was respect being stripped away, plain and simple. But Monique's not out here asking for sympathy. She wants something bigger, accountability. She's been clear. She wants Oprah and Perry to say out loud what they already said behind closed doors, that they were wrong, that they lied, and that their choices cost her millions. And if they really want to make it right, then they need to say it on the same big stage they used to ruin her name. But so far, nothing. Perry's still silent. Oprah, silent too. And Monique, she's still speaking loud and clear. Because if they could do this to her, a woman with an Oscar in her hand and talent no one can deny, who else were they doing it to? Gabrielle Union had been trying to warn folks about this for years, not with drama or wild accusations, but with quiet, firm truth. She kept pointing to the cracks in the system, calling out the cold control and fake loyalty behind the scenes. Hollywood's power structure didn't just gatekeep careers, it kept people silent, it demanded trust, and it used control like a weapon. Then everything came crashing down. In June 2025, the industry got rocked when actor Derek Dixon filed a jaw-dropping $260 million lawsuit against Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry Studios. The allegations, horrific. According to the court docs, it all started in 2019, when Perry allegedly first noticed Dixon at an event. From there, things spiraled into claims of harassment, coercion, and a toxic workplace that pushed boundaries too far. For most, it was shocking, but for the ones who'd been paying attention, it wasn't all that surprising.
Actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry sued for $260 million over harassment allegations. The complaint filed in Los Angeles accuses Perry of creating a, quote, coercive, exploitative dynamic with actor Derek Dixon.
The red flags had been waving for years. Derek Dixon says it all began with what looked like a regular Hollywood invite, mentorship. Tyler Perry allegedly brought him to his Atlanta mansion under the promise of career guidance. But once inside, things took a dark turn. Dixon claims he drank too much and blacked out, only to wake up and find Perry touching him inappropriately. He didn't go to the police, he didn't speak out. Why? Because he was new, scared, and just trying to survive in an industry where speaking up can get you blacklisted overnight. But the story didn't end there.
He was asleep. Perry climbed into bed with him and tried to initiate. Dixon says he tried to distance himself from Perry, but he was offered a role on Perry's show, The Oval.
According to court documents, there's receipts. Screenshots show alleged text messages from Perry, and they're explicit. One message read, "What's it going to take for you to have guiltless intimacy?" Have y'all found that yet in therapy? Another pushed the line even further. "I would hope that you would let someone hold you and make love to you. You are missing the best years of your life, my friend. Trust me." Then came the real pressure. Another alleged message from Perry warned Dixon to keep quiet. "If you let the cast know that you and I have a new friendship, then you are opening yourself up to a lot of questions and foolishness. You earned your spot like everyone else. Don't give people an opportunity to play you small, or they will." That wasn't mentorship. That was manipulation, plain and dangerous, wrapped in promises laced with control. Dixon says he kept quiet. He tried to focus on the work, even as he took on roles in Perry shows like The Oval and Ruthless. But the messages didn't stop, and the behavior allegedly got worse. Then, in 2021, it crossed a terrifying line. Dixon claims Perry entered his guest house, pulled down his underwear, and whispered, "Relax and just let it happen." That was it. That was the moment he knew he had to leave, no matter the risk. By June 2024, he filed a complaint with the EEOC. A year later, in 2025, he filed a $260 million lawsuit. And suddenly, all those things Gabrielle Union had been saying about power, control, and the quiet manipulation happening behind the scenes weren't just warnings anymore. They sounded like prophecies. Gabrielle tried to tell us. She spoke up about how the powerful rewrite narratives, hide behind status, and control others with silence. And now, with Dixon's case, that dark undercurrent she'd been hinting at, it's crashing into the spotlight. Derek Dixon's lawsuit isn't just about what happened behind closed doors, it's about the system that let it all happen in plain sight. The same system Gabrielle Union walked away from before it could happen to her. And now, nobody's laughing, nobody's calling her difficult. They're just trying to catch up to what she saw years ago. Gabrielle didn't just deal with being sidelined. She watched her peers get mistreated, watched reputations get crushed, and watched how the powerful moved when no one was looking. She didn't go on some loud rant. She didn't drag names across headlines. She just stepped back, kept her peace, and let the truth speak on its own. And now, that truth is screaming. Derek Dixon's $260 million lawsuit didn't just shake the industry, it confirmed what a lot of folks had already been whispering. His accusations against Tyler Perry weren't just disturbing. They lined up with everything Gabrielle had been pointing to for years. Christian Keys tried to warn people in his own way, dropping that now infamous video filled with veiled hints. Brandon J.J. came forward with his own TikTok story about last-minute character changes and pressure on set. And Tiffany Haddish, she had a public breakdown when she was left high and dry by the same Hollywood family that once embraced her. All these stories, they tell the same story Gabrielle Union was trying to explain. The power game in Hollywood is rigged. She tried to say, it's not just about talent, it's about silence. She called out the fake praise, the performative support, and how some black creators were being lifted up in public while quietly mistreating the very people who helped build their empires. Gabrielle dared to talk about money, about how black women were being paid less than everyone else. She talked about favoritism. She talked about how dangerous it was to set boundaries in an industry where your career depends on keeping quiet. And what did she get for that honesty? A label. Difficult. Suddenly the offers slowed down. The invites stopped. Relationships turned cold. People backed away. That's the cost. That's the price women like Gabrielle paid just for telling the truth, especially black women in Hollywood. While Tyler Perry was getting flowers for his billion-dollar studio and Oprah stayed positioned as the queen of empowerment, Gabrielle Union was quietly being shut out. But here's the real truth. Gabrielle Union was never bitter. She was just done playing a game that was rigged from the jump. She didn't want power if it meant staying silent while others got hurt. She didn't want a spotlight if it meant lying to the young women watching her, thinking this was what success looked like. She saw the truth early, and instead of clinging to a seat at a broken table, she chose to build something better for herself and for every woman coming up behind her. Gabrielle didn't just walk away. She redefined what it means to win. She started having real conversations, the kind most people were too scared to even whisper. She helped younger actresses read between the lines of shady contracts. She shared what actually goes down in those glamorous rooms. She stood by Monique when the whole industry turned its back. She didn't need to expose people by name. She just laid out the facts and the truth exposed itself. And now, in 2025, nobody's questioning Gabrielle Union's credibility. Not after the lawsuits, not after the leaked texts, not after people finally started seeing behind the curtain and realizing that some of the most praised names in Hollywood weren't heroes after all. Gabrielle Union understood the rules of the game. She just decided she wasn't going to lose herself trying to win it. Because she chose to walk away, others are finally waking up and seeing the system for what it really is. Not just broken, but built to protect the wrong people. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video, and drop a comment below. Let us know your thoughts because these conversations matter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
On a comedy show thinking something serious, then these are sick people. And they need to be locked away somewhere.
Listen to me. I would love to work with Eddie. Eddie won't return my calls.
Eddie Griffin is one of those legendary comedians and actors who's never scared to call out Hollywood's shady control games. Recently, Cat Williams dropped a bomb saying Tyler Perry is allegedly scared of Eddie because of all the truths Eddie's been spilling.
Tyler Perry is gay. I know he's gay. He knows he's gay. We all have friends that know he's gay. I've hung around Tyler Perry. I've known Tyler Perry for years.
Eddie and Kat have been real about the heavy pressure that black comedians and actors deal with in Hollywood. It's a world where you're expected to fit in just to keep getting work. And if you don't play the game, you might just get blackballed quick. They've straight up called out big names like Tyler Perry for allegedly blackballing them. And folks are wondering if Eddie and Kat are secretly teaming up to expose Hollywood's hidden tricks. Something's definitely heating up. For years, tons of actors have felt cornered, forced to go along with things they don't agree with, just so they don't get cut off from work. Eddie Griffin and Cat Williams have been loud about these toxic setups, sharing how they've been pressured, but decided they weren't going to work in such messed up environments anymore. Eddie recently spilled more tea about how Hollywood really works behind the curtains. In a raw conversation, he explained how the industry uses audience plants and sneaky mind games on comedians to control the narrative. According to Eddie, Hollywood hides behind comedy and art to push certain messages and shape how people think without them even realizing it. Griffin breaks it down. The line between what's real and what's performance in this industry is seriously blurred. Audience plants, not some wild conspiracy. Eddie says they're real, sitting there on purpose to hype up or shut down the crowd, controlling the vibe and messing with performers without them even seeing it happen. It's like comedians aren't just battling stage jitters, but a sneaky force planted in the crowd to steer the energy in whatever direction they want. But it doesn't stop at comedy clubs. Eddie hinted there's an even darker game in play, saying government agencies like the FBI and CIA might have their eyes on comedians too. According to Eddie, these agencies see comedians as a threat because of how much influence they have with just words and a mic. It sounds crazy, but in Eddie's world, it's a chilling possibility that these jokes could get you watched. Eddie sees the stage, once a spot for pure free speech, as a battlefield now. Every joke and punchline could come with consequences. In the world he describes, paranoia isn't just paranoia, it's a survival tactic. Comedians fear not just upsetting some folks in the audience, but also fear the shadowy forces watching, ready to pounce on anything they say. Comedy, once a place for wild freedom, has turned into a place where comedians are forced to censor themselves just to keep working. Eddie's words hit hard, painting a picture of an industry where creative freedom is under constant threat. But Eddie's message goes even deeper than Hollywood. He calls out society's obsession with money and exposes how the freedom people think they have is just an illusion. He's telling people to open their eyes, to look past the shiny lights and fake smiles of Hollywood and see a system built to control minds and crush real voices. His words are a straight-up call to action. He's telling comedians and the people watching to wake up and see how deep this manipulation runs. According to Eddie, Hollywood isn't the dreamland it sells itself as. It's a stage where unseen hands pull every string, and the laughter and applause might just be part of a perfectly crafted performance meant to keep people asleep. It's a world where the truth is wilder than fiction, and the real clowns just might be the ones running the show. But that's not even the craziest part. What's even more bizarre is how Hollywood keeps putting comedians in dresses, calling it funny, when it's really not funny at all. Cat Williams set it off during his explosive January 3rd interview on the Club Shay Shay podcast, and people can't stop talking about it. One hot topic he touched on was the ongoing debate about famous black men being pushed to wear dresses in entertainment, and the way he broke it down was wild. Williams dropped a bomb when he claimed he once added a clause in his contract saying he would only work with Ricky Smiley again if Smiley wore a dress. He wasn't playing when he said that, and it shows just how deep this weird game in Hollywood goes. Cat also shared how disappointed he was when Martin Lawrence wanted him to wear his first dress while playing a sidekick in the 2011 movie Big Mama's House. Like father, like son, Cat said, Martin Lawrence tried to put me in my first dress and he wasn't having it. According to Cat, when Martin had to step away for a while, he allegedly told him, "Hey Cat, when I come back, I need you. You my young partner, you my brother in comedy. When I come back, just promise me that my next movie, it'll be me and you, we go and do it together. We go and do some buddy cop shit." Cat claims he agreed right away, not even asking to see the script, trusting Martin's word. But later, Cat was shocked when he found out what was really going on. "You know, when we get in that office and this fool pull out Big Mama's House, I almost died," Cat said. Cat recalled how wild it was having to read that script in front of all these good white people, while this gay dude wanted him to throw on a dress with him. Cat said he straight up asked everybody, "Why is he in a dress again?" reminding them that Martin already played the old lady FBI agent, so why keep pushing this same act when they could do anything now? Cat claimed Martin Lawrence wasn't feeling his refusal and tried to pressure him into doing it. Martin allegedly told him, "Come on, man, it's just comedy. It's not that serious. It's not like you're really a woman." But Cat wasn't folding. He told him, "No, man, I'm not doing it. I got principles and dignity. I'm not about to disrespect myself or my people." Martin hit back saying, "You're missing out on a big opportunity. You could be a star." But Cat shut that down quick, telling him, "I'm already a star. I don't need to wear a dress to be funny." Instead of bowing down, Cat said he threw out Brandon T. Jackson's name for the role. And that's exactly how Big Mama's House, like father, like son, ended up hitting screens in 2011 with Brandon as the younger comic in the role. Years later, even Brandon has spoken out, sharing his regrets and frustrations about his part in that movie. And guess who's standing 10 toes behind Cat's claims? None other than the bold and outspoken Eddie Griffin. After Kat's explosive interview with Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay shook up Hollywood, Eddie Griffin came through backing Kat's words. The Undercover Brother star didn't just support Kat in private either. He brought it up during his stand-up, keeping the conversation alive. Eddie even joked about Ricky Smiley, one of the entertainers Kat called out on the podcast, showing he's not afraid to poke at the folks Kat exposed. Eddie is making it clear that he's backing Kat's stand and isn't scared to call out the weird pressures in Hollywood. Eddie Griffin and Kat Williams are two of the few comics out here who've never crossed that line of putting on a dress just for laughs. Eddie said, "Me and Kat are the last two that ain't wore a dress." He even joked that let's do the non-wearing a dress tour. That'd still be hot like a MF. And honestly, you can't deny that would sell out quick. In Hollywood, there's definitely a pattern of pushing black men to wear dresses on screen. You see legends like Flip Wilson, Eddie Murphy, Jamie Foxx, Martin Lawrence, and Tyler Perry all stepping into dresses for roles at some point in their careers. Some folks say Perry, like Wilson, Fox, Murphy, and Lawrence, is just an actor and artist who likes to explore every side of himself, even the feminine side, and sees it as another role to embody. But a lot of people worry that all these images of black men in dresses are really just Hollywood's way of making money while chipping away at black masculinity. Kat Williams and Eddie Griffin have both called this out, saying, "Black men already face heavy challenges in the community, and Hollywood might be making it worse." Many fans stand with Kat, feeling like anything that shows vulnerability or femininity is seen as a threat to the strong image of black manhood. But it looks like Perry and Lawrence don't see it that way, and they're not bothered about putting on a dress for a role. Meanwhile, the image of black people in the community keeps getting watered down in the media day by day. A lot of what's shown is just for views and money, with no care for how it affects people in real life. One director who's been right in the middle of these conversations is Tyler Perry, who's been under the spotlight for years because of this. Fans argue that the man who made Medea famous could have been of any race. But the fact that it's often black men playing these roles makes people question what Hollywood's real intentions are behind these portrayals. What's really concerning about Tyler Perry is how he's made stacks of money off the support of black audiences, but the quality of his productions doesn't always match up with the love he gets from his people. What's even more disappointing is that there doesn't seem to be a strong push from his audience for him to level up and give them the high-quality content they deserve. Comedians like Kat Williams and Eddie Griffin have been calling this out, pushing folks to open their eyes to what's really going on in Hollywood and to demand better. They want people to look past the flashy lights and see the bigger picture. And let's be real, it's not even about wearing dresses for laughs anymore, because that's not what the audience is craving. You know what's really interesting though? Despite being major heavyweights in Hollywood, Eddie Murphy and Tyler Perry have never really linked up on a project, and it's not just them. It's like there's a pattern with powerful black creators avoiding teaming up. It almost feels like they're worried that joining forces might mess with the individual success each of them has built. It's a shame, because imagine the heat they could drop if they came together. But hey, maybe there's more going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Fans are out here wondering what's really causing all this fear. Just look at Eddie Murphy, for example. He's been dropping movies back to back with over 50 films in less than 5 years. But here's the twist. Only a small handful of those movies have been directed by black directors. That tells you a lot about how Hollywood moves behind closed doors. Maybe that's part of the reason we haven't seen Eddie Murphy and Tyler Perry team up on a project yet. It's like there's this silent hesitation hanging in the air. And it's not just Eddie and Tyler. It's the same weird vibe that's kept Will Smith and Denzel Washington from dropping multiple films together. The way Al Pacino and Robert De Niro have been able to do without hesitation, it's like there's this unspoken rule holding these big names back from linking up, and honestly, it's a shame. We're missing out on some legendary collaborations that could shake up the industry. But let's keep it real. It's not just about busy schedules or creative differences when it comes to why Tyler Perry and Eddie Murphy haven't teamed up yet. There's something deeper going on. Right now, the world is waking up to how vulnerable black lives are, with systemic issues still leading to messed up outcomes. With the Black Lives Matter movement gaining momentum, more people are seeing the urgent need for real changes, especially in economic power. And who's really benefiting in these industries? Eddie Murphy has been dropping hints about the unfairness in Hollywood, and it's got people wondering if folks like Tyler Perry are tied into how the system keeps working the same way. It's wild to think that Eddie's only Oscar nomination came from his role in Dreamgirls, directed by Bill Condon, and here's the kicker. Eddie even admitted in interviews that he didn't put in the same level of effort for that role as he does for his comedy projects. It's like Eddie is low-key exposing how twisted the industry can get behind the scenes. But wait, there's more to Hollywood's dark side that people aren't ready to talk about yet. Cat Williams and Eddie Griffin have also been talking about these massive Hollywood parties where one name keeps popping up: Puffy. Actors like Jamie Foxx have mentioned Puffy throwing these extravagant parties, and there have been whispers about what really goes down at these events. Some people claim these parties are surrounded by shady energy, with rumors that people at these parties are interested in younger individuals who are new to Hollywood, looking for a chance. Even Puffy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, has alleged that Diddy's parties often turn into wild scenes where lines get crossed. It's got people questioning what's really happening in the industry while the cameras are off, and why certain stars stay quiet while others like Cat and Eddie keep speaking up. To make it even messier, there have been allegations floating around about Diddy, claiming he's forced people into questionable acts at these parties. Diddy's name has become the center of jokes about these allegations, and Eddie Griffin didn't hold back, throwing shots at Diddy while taking a playful jab at Suge Knight too. Eddie always knows how to bring a fresh perspective to the biggest drama, and this time, he did it live on stage in front of a hyped crowd. This went down on December 2nd, sparking a wave of chatter all over social media as clips started surfacing. It's not exactly clear which show it was from, but what's clear is that Eddie had the whole room reacting. Eddie kicked off the set apologizing for being late to the stage, saying while he was backstage waiting to go on, he was scrolling the internet and saw something that made him go, "Did he? Did he? Did he? I know he did it. He did it. Take that, take that, take that."
He did it. He did it. Did he do it? Did he did it? Did he did it? Did it? That nigga on his way to jail, Suge Knight there. What?
Throwing a jab using Puffy's "bad boy for life" catchphrase. Then Eddie fired off, "Bad boy for life, my ah," before adding, "This dude on his way to jail and Suge Knight in there waiting on him." He had the crowd roaring when he added that as soon as Diddy steps inside, Suge would be like, "You tired of your cell dancing all up in your cell? Come on over to death row." The moment Eddie mentioned Diddy's in trouble, the crowd let out laughs and gasps, knowing exactly what was coming next. Eddie didn't hold back, throwing out joke after joke about Diddy and the messy allegations while sprinkling in jabs at Suge Knight too. Even Suge himself couldn't escape Eddie's punchlines, with Eddie cracking jokes about Diddy possibly ending up behind bars over these allegations, all while the crowd was losing it with laughter. Eddie knows how to keep it real while making it funny, using comedy to spotlight the chaos swirling around big names in the industry. You know, the same allegations Diddy's been denying left and right. Meanwhile, Suge Knight, who's been locked up since that 2015 hit and run that took out his buddy Terry Carter, couldn't help but throw in his own wisecrack about Puffy. Suge allegedly joked, "Puffy, I don't want to see you go down, but if you need a celly, I'ma grant you my cell, boy. Hope your cooking game's strong and don't get it twisted. I don't want no head, but you gonna be cleaning them toilets." Eddie Griffin's joke about Diddy is actually a spin-off from the same energy he had when those accusations first popped off. Back in December, 50 Cent even posted a clip from Eddie's stand-up clowning Diddy hard while the whole internet watched. Eddie said, "That dude on his way to jail and Suge Knight been waiting on him." Then he joked, "You tired of your celly dancing in your videos, all up in Cell Block C dancing? Come on over to death row, baby." Eddie didn't hold back, saying, "Diddy, he did it," while reminding everyone how 50 Cent is the most petty dude on earth. Eddie kept it real, saying 50 be beefing with Diddy every single day, counting down like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, here come a new charge. And people couldn't stop laughing while the truth was sitting heavy in the room. Guess who else jumped into this Diddy convo? Cat Williams didn't hold back either during his viral January interview with Shannon Sharpe. At one point, Cat spilled how he turned down an invite to one of Puff's parties after hearing rumors about some gay shenanigans going on at those events. Cat told Shannon, "I gotta protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about, cause P. Diddy be wanting to party, and you gotta tell him no." he said he was determined to make it in Hollywood without compromising himself, adding that he never wanted to end up in those situations. Cat said, "You gotta tell him no," and I did. Letting folks know he's not just talking, he's got the receipts for everything he's saying. Cat made it clear he's not afraid to call out these powerful names while keeping his dignity intact in an industry that tries to test everyone. Guess what? This ain't the first time Eddie Griffin has cracked jokes about Diddy's drama in public. When he was promoting a show in Kansas City, Eddie called into the morning show and spilled the beans again. But this time, he took it even further, claiming he actually saw some gay stuff going down at one of Diddy's parties 20 years ago. But hold up, there's way more to this story. A bunch of actors have been talking about how Tyler Perry has been seen hanging out with Diddy at these parties, with many even showing receipts that Tyler was in the mix too. And here's where it gets even wilder. Some people who've known Tyler Perry from back in the day, like Walter Lee Hampton, have been speaking up. Walter is a well-known YouTube blogger who claims he's an insider in the industry, and he's been saying Tyler has dropped millions just to keep people quiet about the shady stuff happening behind the scenes. Walter didn't hold back, claiming he had a years-long relationship with Tyler Perry. The way Walter tells it, Tyler has been wrestling with who he really is, while trying to keep up with what society expects him to be, hiding his real self for the sake of fame and money. Walter even dropped more tea, saying Tyler basically outed himself when he started dressing up as Medea, using the character to deal with all the hate coming his way, while still keeping certain truths about himself low-key. Walter even threw it on Facebook, writing, "Tyler Perry outed himself years ago. That man was out at the gay clubs dancing on the speakers years before I was. You cannot be in the closet and out dancing at tracks. Give me a break. And you hateful punks got the nerve to be mad. Why? Tyler Perry outed himself." Walter made it clear he's not here to sugarcoat anything, letting everyone know Tyler's been living a double life while playing it safe for the industry. It paints a complicated picture of a man who's dealing with who he truly is while trying to keep up with the Hollywood image and the demands of fame. Years ago, Walter Lee Hampton called out Tyler Perry for supposedly turning his back on the black gay community, a community that was riding with him heavy from the jump. Walter criticized Tyler for not using his success to give back to the folks who had his back early in his career, raising real questions about what responsibilities successful people have toward the communities that helped lift them up. But that's not where the drama ends. Recently, there have been fresh allegations from a young and talented actor, Christian Keys, who has reportedly accused Tyler Perry of inappropriate behavior while they were working together. Now, nothing's been proven, but Christian has shown what he claims is evidence, saying Perry was a mentor and a powerful figure in Hollywood, and that he used that power in questionable ways. Since Christian worked closely with Tyler, fans have been side-eyeing the situation, wondering if the A-list figure Christian has been hinting at is really Tyler Perry. Christian even claimed that this powerful man in Hollywood offered him big money just to get undressed.
And one time he was offered $100,000 to take off his clothes.
That alone got people talking. And it gets even messier. Another man named Joshua Soule stepped forward with his own allegations against Tyler Perry. Joshua used to work at Tyler Perry Studios and ended up suing Tyler and his boss, Brett Hendricks, claiming he was sexually harassed on the job and then fired when he tried to speak up. But things took a wild turn after that. Joshua got arrested at Tyler Perry Studios for allegedly breaking in, barricading himself inside an office, and demanding to see Tyler Perry face-to-face to settle things. And get this, Tyler Perry clapped back and sued Joshua, claiming the incident caused him emotional distress. But Joshua wasn't about to fold. He fired back with a harassment lawsuit against Tyler Perry, turning the whole situation into a messy legal back and forth that had folks watching closely. Tyler Perry then responded to Joshua's lawsuit by claiming that the relationship between Joshua and Brett Hendricks was consensual, trying to shut down the claims, but the drama kept building. This situation opened up a bigger conversation about the hidden power dynamics in Hollywood and what really goes on behind closed doors when young actors are trying to get a break in the industry. Tyler Perry claimed Joshua wasn't even officially an employee of Tyler Perry Studios and that whatever went down between Joshua and Brett was consensual. Perry also said Joshua got kicked out for reasons that had nothing to do with his harassment complaint. And yep, the legal mess is still ongoing. But here's where it gets interesting. Tyler Perry made a surprising move and decided to drop his lawsuit against Joshua Soul, the one where he accused Joshua of stalking and trespassing back in 2014. This decision came right after a court hearing earlier that week, but don't think it's over, because Joshua's counter lawsuit is still active, with him claiming anxiety, depression, and emotional distress caused by the whole ordeal. Fans couldn't help but wonder, why would Tyler Perry drop his lawsuit if nothing shady actually happened? Especially since there are whispers that Brett Hendricks might have been involved in similar incidents with other actors. This whole situation is making folks question if Joshua was really the only actor who tried to speak up about inappropriate behavior from Hendricks, especially towards straight men trying to work in the industry. And hold up, there's more tea. Actor Tyler Lepley also found himself caught up in the Tyler Perry straight image conversation when he pulled up to Angela Yee's Lip Service podcast. Lepley denied that Tyler Perry is gay, but in doing so, also low-key confirmed Perry's orientation without directly saying it, keeping things murky. On another episode of the podcast, Lepley opened up about the rumors that started flying around about him as soon as he began working with Tyler Perry. He explained how people immediately started questioning his sexuality the minute he landed his first role with Tyler, showing how quickly Hollywood labels get thrown around. Fans believe that since it was early in Lepley's career, he probably wasn't in a position to say no to any requests from Tyler, no matter how uncomfortable it might have been. Lepley said, "I remember when I first started out, I was seeing that here and there, talking about the rumors. For whatever reason, people were associating it with my first show," he added, pointing out how working under Tyler Perry's brand came with whispers he couldn't control. For those who don't know, Tyler Lepley was talking about his role as Benny Young on Tyler Perry's hit drama series, The Haves and the Have-Nots, which has been keeping folks glued to the screen on OWN since 2013. Lepley mentioned that his connection to Tyler Perry, actor, writer, producer, director, and successful studio owner, might have sparked all those rumors about his sexuality. He said, "I came out in a Tyler Perry show, and for whatever reason, he gets a rap like that." Explaining how the rumors started, Lepley added, "I know Tyler Perry personally, and he's not gay. I was around him, and all of a sudden he's rubbing off on me, and people felt like I was gay or something like that." But that wasn't the only time fans started questioning him. Lepley even talked about another moment when he was working on the set of P-Valley, saying, "I had done something while I was on the sets of P-Valley. Maybe I was with Clifford, or I think I was taking a picture with Alphonse, who plays Lil Murda, and people started off with the gay thing again." Lepley kept it real, saying, "I think if you have a space that people can't figure out, they can create a judgment." That's how quick people are to make assumptions in this industry, especially when it comes to Tyler Perry's circle. You see, Tyler Perry has been accused multiple times by different actors in Hollywood of being involved in activities that are unacceptable, with rumors and allegations swirling for years. It's clear that Hollywood's got some serious problems, with powerful big shots allegedly taking advantage of actors trying to get a break. But the good thing is, we've got folks like Eddie Griffin and Cat Williams who aren't scared to speak up. They're calling these elites out loud and clear, shining a light on the shady games happening in the industry. They're standing tall, ready to shake things up and fight for a Hollywood that's fair, real, and safe for everyone trying to make it. That's it for today's video. If you found this eye-opening, smash that like button, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive, and drop a comment letting us know your thoughts on this Hollywood madness. Share this video with your friends who need to hear the truth, and we'll see you in the next one.
So Tyler Perry's favorite subject is bad-mouthing straight men, especially black straight men, and making them look like villains. Meanwhile, somebody gay comes in and helps out somebody that's a plain Jane girl or foolish woman.
We back to old-fashioned TP, man. Yeah. But we get back to that dark-skinned man villain. Oh, you want your check?
If you want to know who the bad man is in a Tyler Perry film, just look at who's dark.
Tyler Perry's been catching heat for years, but now it looks like the truth is finally catching up to him. Judge Joe Brown just went off, calling out Tyler for what he says is a long-running habit of demonizing black men in his movies while making white or gay characters look like the saviors. According to Judge Joe, this isn't just about the scripts. It's about who Tyler really is behind closed doors. See, Judge Joe claims Tyler's been on a mission to humiliate and weaken the image of black men, and he's been doing it right under Hollywood's nose. The timing couldn't be wilder either, because right now, Tyler's facing a lawsuit from white actor Derek Dixon, who says he was caught up in Tyler's so-called casting couch.
I got into bed and then I noticed that he climbed into bed with me as well and started rubbing my leg.
And just when people thought this was another rumor, Derek dropped receipts, leaked text messages supposedly from Tyler himself, texts that fans say back up exactly what Judge Joe's been saying for years.
How you feel about Tyler Perry?
He strikes me as somebody that does not like manhood, because I've seen 50 years worth of televised emasculation. So the little boys don't understand what they really have going for themselves, and they grow up and don't know how to do.
When Judge Joe hit the art of dialogue, he didn't hold back. He said he wasn't surprised at all about the lawsuit because, according to him, Tyler's been running that kind of system for a long time. But what really shook viewers was when Judge Joe claimed the worst part isn't even the alleged casting couch.
Tyler Perry, how you feel about the recent lawsuit filed against him?
I referred to the Hollywood industry and the casting couch with the 7 B's. Remember, unbelt, drop breeches, drop boxes, bend over. See, that's a reality in that trade. So with the feminist movement, everybody is concerned about the heterosexual casting couch, but not the homosexual casting couch.
Tyler Perry, how you feel about the recent lawsuit filed against him?
I referred to the Hollywood industry and the casting couch with the 7 B's. Remember, unbelt, drop breeches, drop boxes, bend over. See, that's a reality in that trade. So with the feminist movement, everybody is concerned about the heterosexual casting couch, but not the homosexual casting couch.
It's how Tyler keeps choosing dark-skinned black men to play broken, emasculated villains, while the lighter characters or outsiders get to be the heroes.
And if you listen to what Tyler Perry does, he's essentially anti-masculine. He downs straight men, particularly straight black men at every opportunity in his productions. The company, rather. So Tyler Perry's favorite subject is bad-mouthing straight men, especially black straight men, and making them look like villains. Meanwhile, somebody gay comes in and helps out somebody that's a plain Jane girl or foolish woman, and they prosper.
Judge Joe didn't stop there. He said straight up that Tyler's scripts mirror his personal life and his preferences.
In the end, that's what he does. So when you look at his art, you ask, does it mirror his reality? And if somebody's got a fetish-style taste for something, is that what he's prone to do to take advantage of a situation?
Whatever that might mean, he even went so far as to call Tyler poisonous, accusing him of spreading what he described as a twisted Hollywood agenda.
So I take it you're not a big fan of Tyler Perry. How do you feel about him personally?
I think he's poisonous. The worst thing we've had happen is, I know Flip Wilson used to do it. It wasn't that it wasn't done, but he institutionalized this tranny thing with Medea. The industry pushed the hell out of that because part of their agenda was to legitimate and popularize and get accepted this transvestitism.
That's when fans started debating, some saying Judge Joe was being unfair about Tyler's sexuality, while others argued he was simply pointing out how damaging those portrayals have become. What can't be denied is that Tyler's been proud of writing all his own scripts. He's bragged about it for years.
tell me why you don't have a writer's room, and would you ever consider creating a space like that?
I did have a writer's room about 10 years ago. I had the writer's room, and they were turning in scripts that weren't up to par for my audience. I've been working with this audience and cultivating for 25 years, so I know what they want. So I would have to pay them to write the scripts. When they turn into bad scripts, I got to pay them to rewrite the scripts. Right. And then I would go and rewrite the scripts, and then they go to WGA and they greet me and say he rewrote the script and pay me again. So it was just such an ugly situation. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to write because I know that my audience knows my voice.
But fans say that's exactly the problem. Viewers have been begging him to bring in real writers to finally give depth to his characters instead of recycling the same tired stereotypes over and over. Even some of his peers have stepped up to say, enough is enough. Tyler's empire might be huge, but the cracks in his image are showing loud and clear. Remember when Spike Lee dropped that bomb years ago, calling Tyler Perry's movies coonery and buffoonery? Well, turns out he wasn't the only one who saw the problem. Charlemagne the God also stepped up and said he stopped watching Tyler's films altogether because, in his words, they keep showing black men in the worst possible way.
Always end up getting pissed off at Tyler Perry movies. Temptations, that with a girl was cheating on Lance Gross, and she ended up getting beat up by the dude and ended up catching AIDS and all that. He had a hand in that for colored girls. That shit was an African-American horror movie, man. Temptations was an African-American horror movie. For colored girls was an African-American horror movie. I think he had something to do with Precious. That was an African-American horror movie. I don't know, man. It's just like Tyler Perry, he paints a very negative portrayal of black men. We ain't that bad.
And honestly, if you've seen enough of Tyler's work, you know Charlemagne wasn't lying. Take Why Did I Get Married, for example. Janet Jackson's character goes through absolute tragedy, losing her child and then her estranged husband in the same heartbreaking way. But somehow, the message still manages to spin around to blaming or villainizing the black men in the story. And it doesn't stop there. Tyler seems to have a formula, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Look at I Can Do Bad all by myself. The character Randy, played by a dark-skinned actor, is portrayed as an outright monster. He mistreats his wife, shows no remorse, and to top it off, the savior ends up being a Colombian man who swoops in to rescue her.
What's up, Mexico? Legal?
Stop, leave him alone.
Hey, this is a grown man. You can't answer the question. I said, you legal, Mexico? Huh? Oh yeah, see right there? I know this boy ain't legal just by the way he looking down.
Where are you at?
The symbolism isn't subtle, it's screaming loud and clear. Then there's a fall from grace. Once again, the husband is the bad guy, lying, cheating, stealing, and dragging his wife down until she completely breaks. Same pattern, different movie.
I'm the husband. You know the laws of this state. The money's mine now. It's your fault. You made this too easy. And women your age, low-hanging fruit.
And don't forget acrimony. Robert, played by Lyric Bent, uses Melinda, cheats on her, drains her emotionally and financially, and walks away like he did nothing wrong.
I would do anything for you. And I did. And you lie. And you cheat on me. I'm done with you. I'm done. Get out. Get out.
Every time the straight black man is the villain, and the women only find peace when they walk away or get saved by someone outside the community. Even in Tyler's latest project, Straw with Teyana Taylor, it's more of the same. Every black man betrays her, and the only one who actually listens, understands, or helps her, guess what, is a white detective.
At this point, being dark is synonymous with evil. Like, did a black man break in and bend over Tyler Perry's wife? I'm so confused. Because look at all the prominent black men in the film. This was an actual sociopath disguised as a manager. This black man, who doesn't even deserve to have his face shown, only exists to disagree with and put down his partner. This chief is supposed to come off as neutral, but spends half the film trying to convince the negotiator to take over for her because he doesn't think she can do it. Oh, but look, in the midst of all these black men doubting her and questioning her, it's the white man that gets to be the first source of positive affirmation for the detective. And even her in this poor, ghetto, ugly black area. It's the only white man in the area that gets to be the source of love and joy for her. If you want to know who the bad man is, kids in a Tyler Perry film, just look at who's darker. Diary of a Mad Black Woman, insane title. Dark-skinned man was evil, light-skinned man came in and saved the woman. Why Did I Get Married? The dark-skinned man, evil, horrible. The lighter-skinned man, he's perfect, he's great. Hell, in the one movie where the light-skinned man was bad, it was a lighter-skinned Mexican that came in and saved the day.
Fans are noticing the pattern, and it's impossible to ignore. So when Judge Joe Brown said Tyler's got an agenda against black men, he wasn't just talking wild. He was connecting the dots. From Spike Lee to Charlemagne to regular fans online, people are waking up to the fact that Tyler's stories might not just be fiction, they might be reflection. But was Judge Joe right about that other part? About Tyler Perry's so-called casting couch and his supposed preference for white men? If you ask actor Derek Dixon, the answer might just be yes. Derek, who's appeared in Tyler's shows The Oval and Ruthless, has filed a jaw-dropping $260 million lawsuit against Tyler, accusing him of serious misconduct, retaliation, and creating what he calls a predatory work environment. That's not a small accusation. It's the kind that could blow up everything if proven true. Derek didn't just make claims, he came with receipts. He leaked a series of text messages that he says came straight from Tyler himself, and if they're real, they're pretty wild. In one message, Tyler allegedly asked, "What's it gonna take for you to have guiltless relations?" A line that immediately had fans raising eyebrows. In another, Tyler supposedly called Derek thick and beautiful, saying he'd make any partner go crazy once he got into a relationship. The tone, way too personal for a boss talking to an employee, and it didn't stop there. Derek claims Tyler even asked him what role he plays when he's in bed with another man, and then went as far as labeling him the top. Fans couldn't believe it. This wasn't casual flirting between equals. It was a powerful Hollywood boss allegedly crossing serious boundaries with someone working under him. According to Derek, Tyler later told him he didn't want a real relationship, just something physical, something with no emotions attached. That's when people really started questioning how deep this goes. Now, Tyler's legal team has come out swinging, calling the lawsuit nothing more than a cash grab and saying Derek's just chasing headlines. But here's the thing. Rumors about Tyler's casting couch have been floating around for years. Some insiders, including Jaguar Wright, have even claimed Tyler was a familiar face at Diddy's infamous Hollywood parties, where he was allegedly having the time of his life with male actors. So even if none of this ever gets proven in court, it's hard to ignore the smoke when there's been this much talk for so long. The question now is, how much of it is gossip, and how much is the truth finally slipping out? Meanwhile, a lot of big-name actors in Hollywood have quietly drawn the line when it comes to working with Tyler Perry. And some of them are even hinting that he's got some shady things going on behind the scenes. One of the latest to speak out was Alfonso Ribeiro, the man everyone remembers as Carlton from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. When a fan on X, formerly Twitter, suggested that Tyler could help Alfonso revive his career, Alfonso didn't hold back. He fired off a sharp reply saying, "I don't need or ever want that man to do anything for me." That line alone had people clutching their phones. So now fans are asking, what did Alfonso really mean by that? Was he throwing shade about the same Hollywood behavior Judge Joe Brown has been talking about? Is he hinting that sometimes when Tyler wants to party, you better know when to say no? Because if that's the case, Judge Joe might not be lying after all. Do you think Tyler Perry has an agenda to emasculate black men, or are these celebs just airing old grudges? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Would love to work with Eddie. Eddie won't return my calls, so maybe one day we'll have a conversation.
Hearing all this noise, man, it was crazy because there were no black people on television. Before diversity became a thing, Tyler Perry was the only one out there for a long time.
Hollywood just can't stay quiet for long. This time, the spotlight's burning hot on three major names: Tyler Perry, Eddie Murphy, and Monique. Yeah, that's right. What started as whispers behind closed doors has now blown up into full-blown drama with public shade, hurt pride, and some serious tension. So here's what went down. Tyler Perry, the billionaire filmmaker, actor, and the mastermind behind Madea, suddenly found himself at the center of a messy controversy. And we're not talking about small-time gossip either. This was a direct face-off with none other than comedy royalty, Eddie Murphy. But that's not all. Monique, the Oscar-winning actress who's been fighting for fair treatment in Hollywood, is right in the mix too. Now, you might be wondering, how in the world did these three end up tangled together like this? It all kicked off when Eddie Murphy publicly called out Tyler Perry for the way he allegedly treated Monique. Murphy didn't mince words either. He went straight for the truth as he saw it, and that hit Perry where it hurt. Perry, who's known for controlling every narrative around him, was not about to sit quietly while someone challenged his empire. Here's where things get real. For years, there's been quiet talk in the industry. Whispers that Perry Studios might have been exploiting black artists, especially those who helped build his early success. These weren't just background rumors. People have been saying it loud, calling Perry out for using creative talent and not giving them their due respect. But Perry's not just another director. He's a mogul with power, money, and major connections. He's mastered the art of surviving bad press. But then Eddie Murphy entered the scene, and that changed everything. Murphy's not some rookie trying to get attention. He's a living legend with decades in the game, loved by generations. So when he spoke out, the industry stopped and listened. His words reignited all those old claims about Perry's behavior toward black artists. And suddenly, that carefully built image of success started showing cracks. It's wild because Tyler Perry has always presented himself as the man who broke barriers, created jobs, and built his own studio empire from scratch. But now, those same achievements are being questioned. Was it empowerment or exploitation? The timing couldn't be worse either, because once Murphy spoke up, other names started resurfacing too. It's like everyone's been waiting for the right moment to talk, and now the floodgates are opening. And the craziest part? Eddie Murphy isn't even the type to jump into beefs. He's been in Hollywood long enough to know how messy things can get, and he's always played it cool. But this time, something clearly pushed him too far. After watching how Monique's career took hit after hit following her public fallout with Perry and others, Murphy seems to have drawn a line in the sand, and he's making it clear he's not impressed with how Perry handles his business anymore. Hollywood might pretend it's all glitz and glam, but behind those smiles, the tension is real. And this one's just getting started. Eddie Murphy's done watching from the sidelines. He's had enough. After seeing the ongoing accusations about Tyler Perry allegedly mistreating black artists, Murphy decided to step up and draw his own line in the sand. He's not just defending Monique, he's standing up for every black creative who's ever felt dismissed or underpaid in an industry that claims to celebrate them. That's a bold move, and people are definitely paying attention. Murphy's never been one to chase drama, but this time he's putting his weight behind a bigger message. He's reminding everyone that fame and power don't excuse you from treating people right. It's like he's saying enough with the double standards. His stance is shaking Hollywood's comfort zone because when someone with Murphy's history and influence speaks out, the whole industry listens. Here's where it gets extra juicy. These two weren't always at odds. Believe it or not, Eddie Murphy and Tyler Perry used to have a solid relationship. Perry has even said before that Murphy was one of his biggest inspirations. They used to show each other respect from afar, always hyping one another's success. But here's the catch. Despite all that admiration, they've never actually worked together. And apparently that's been bugging Perry. Word is he's been trying to get Eddie on board for a collaboration, but Murphy's been straight up ghosting him. That's right. Perry himself claimed that Eddie's been dodging his calls, ignoring pitches, and just acting like he's got better things to do. So now you've got this weird dynamic, the billionaire mogul who wants Murphy's respect and the comedy legend who seems to be keeping his distance. It's the kind of silent tension that says a lot without a single word spoken, but now that Murphy's calling Perry out for allegedly exploiting black talent, that tension's blowing up in public. The same man Perry once praised is now challenging him, and that's a blow to Perry's image that's hard to spin. But let's look closer at Perry's version of events. He's been real vocal about Murphy ghosting him, painting himself like the one left hanging. He's told interviewers he's been trying to link up with Murphy for years, but keeps getting ignored.
Would love to work with Eddie. Eddie won't return my calls, so maybe one day we'll have a conversation.
Yet, what Perry's conveniently not explaining is why Murphy stopped responding. That missing detail is exactly what's making people suspicious, because Murphy isn't known for being shady or difficult to work with. So what really made him cut ties? Some folks believe Perry's skipping that part because it doesn't make him look good. Maybe Murphy's silence isn't about ego at all. Maybe it's about principle. Could it be that Eddie's distancing himself because he saw something behind the scenes that didn't sit right with him? Well, here's where it gets deeper. Sources close to the situation say Eddie Murphy saw a side of Tyler Perry he couldn't respect. He reportedly felt that Perry's public image, the one built around helping black artists and creating opportunities, didn't always match what was happening behind the camera. Murphy's a man who takes pride in supporting and empowering other black performers. So seeing someone in Perry's position allegedly doing the opposite hit hard. And sure, Perry's achievements look incredible on paper, the massive studio, the interviews about building black wealth, the speeches about empowerment, but according to Murphy, a lot of that is surface level, a show for public approval. Murphy allegedly believes Perry's not doing enough to genuinely lift up the same community that helped him rise. To Murphy, that's not just disappointing, it's a betrayal. He thinks someone with Perry's success has a responsibility to open doors, not close them, especially for young black artists trying to make it. And if you want an example of what pushed Murphy over the edge, look no further than Monique's story. Now, let's rewind to 2009, the release of Precious. This wasn't just another movie, it was a gut-wrenching drama that shook audiences to their core. Monique, known for making people laugh, stepped into a brutal emotional role as Mary Lee Johnston, the abusive mother of the lead character. And she didn't just act, she owned that part. Her performance was so raw, so unforgettable, that it earned her both a Golden Globe and an Academy Award. It should have been the peak of her career, but instead of a victory lap, things started going downhill fast. And according to Monique, that's when Tyler Perry's name became part of her biggest struggle. Now, this is where the story really explodes. What should have been Monique's ultimate career high turned into one of the messiest behind-the-scenes Hollywood dramas ever. Sure, Precious was winning awards left and right, but behind that glittering red carpet was pure chaos. And right in the middle of it all were the producers, Oprah Winfrey, Lee Daniels, and of course, Tyler Perry. So here's the scoop. Before award season even kicked off, Monique was asked to represent the film at the Cannes Film Festival in France. Sounds glamorous, right? But here's the shady part. She wasn't going to get paid for it. The trip wasn't in her contract, meaning she'd have to fly out, do press, and show face for free.
Then Tyler Perry and I had a conversation at the Hoodie Awards. At the time it was called the Hoodie Awards, when they were trying to get me to go do all of this press internationally.
And for those that don't know, who put on that Hoodie Award?
Steve Harvey put on the Hoodie Awards in Vegas, right? So it just makes me smile the way this whole scene went down. So I'm beckoned to go into Tyler Perry's dressing room, right? I'm beckoned. So I go into Tyler Perry's dressing room, and there are about maybe 25 people on Tyler Perry's team. And he does this.
Like that? Okay.
And everyone leaves. Well, I have my security with me. And I looked at my security and like, you don't work for Tyler Perry. So my security stayed in the room. So Tyler Perry says to me, listen, you may really want to consider promoting this film, because if you get nominated for an Oscar award, your next film is $3 to $5 million. And if you win it, your next film is $6 to $8 million. I said, Tyler, who are you talking to? I'm a black woman. Where do they pay those type of salaries, brother? I said, what I cannot do, Tyler, is work for free. I've done what I was supposed to do. I cannot go overseas and do this for free, Tyler. So then he goes on about his spiel, you know. I said, well, listen, you can write me the check for me to go overseas. I don't care where the money comes from, but I'm not going to do it for free. He says, well, I don't believe in giving money away for free. I said, I don't believe in working for free, so we're on the same page.
Well, Monique wasn't having it. She stood her ground, said no, and refused to play along with what she felt was an unfair ask. That move rocked Hollywood's comfort zone. The industry wasn't used to a black woman saying no to the system. Her decision was bold and costly. Monique basically threw a wrench into the Hollywood machine by refusing to be taken advantage of. And from that point on, she became a target. She explained her reasoning clearly too. I said, Oprah, I'm doing a talk show, I'm doing a comedy tour, I have a husband and I have babies. I have a little bit of downtime and I'm gonna take advantage of it. So I'm not going anywhere because I'm not obligated to go anywhere. I've done my part, Monique told The Hollywood Reporter. But that act of self-respect didn't go over well. After that, she says the producers, including Perry, started labeling her as difficult to work with. It became her Hollywood scarlet letter, following her everywhere. And according to Monique, that reputation seriously damaged her career. Projects dried up, offers disappeared, and her name got quietly blacklisted in circles she used to run. Years later, Monique revealed that Lee Daniels, the director of Precious, personally reached out to her with regret about how everything went down. He even admitted he should have handled things differently. But as for Oprah and Tyler Perry, she claims they never publicly apologized or took responsibility. Fast forward to 2022, and this is where things get wild. Monique revealed she had audio receipts. She said she recorded a private phone call with Tyler Perry, where he allegedly admitted to his wrongdoings and agreed to make amends publicly. But here's the thing, Perry never followed through. During her appearance on Club Shay Shay, Monique explained that she'd even sent the recording to Al Sharpton. Yes, that Al Sharpton, hoping he could mediate a public discussion between her and Perry. But what happened next left everyone stunned.
Fast forward.
Things,
everything kind of comes out with Lee, Oprah, and there's an audio conversation that you guys had with Tyler.
I got a call on my cell, and her and I would just so happen to be standing together. And that's when he called me and looking for Monique to say, hey, I'd like to speak with y'all because I heard your podcast, I could hear the hurt, and you heard the audio.
For the viewers listening, we're gonna play the audio now.
Community is involved, and they want to see how it's going to play out. Because the community is saying, wait a minute, hold up. We don't know this sister to be no bullshitter. We know she a loudmouth. We know she'll say some shit off the wall. But what we know about it is she true to her word.
And all I would ask you is two questions. The first question is, did you not just say it was wrong?
Tyler.
Did you not just say it was wrong, Tyler? To say she was difficult for not doing something that she was not contractually obligated to do? Did you not say that you would feel that that was wrong? Or am I missing something?
I absolutely said that, yeah.
So the question I would say is...
Okay, is there a number? Taking that back to them was just a huge problem, okay? And I'll get to the David Talbot thing in a minute, because I just watched your podcast, and it really broke my heart, because number one, I feel you. I feel the sadness that's from you in all of this. And I don't want you to feel that, especially for me. I can't speak for anybody else. But for me, I'm not anyone that wants to hurt or offend anybody, especially you. I think you are brilliantly talented. I think you should have a lot more happening than you from that award. I thought for sure that if you had campaigned and won it and played by their rules, what would have happened is in the next deal, you would have gotten more money, millions of dollars, and your career in the film would have been much different. I believe that much in your talent. So in saying all of that, I just say it's just heartbreaking, because I don't ever want you to think that I'm out trying to blackball or say anything. So please give me when I say this. I'm not trying to hurt you. I would never try to hurt you.
According to Monique, Sharpton went completely silent for 6 months after receiving the recording. Then, when she finally saw him again, it wasn't in a meeting or a phone call, it was on TV. She said, the next time we saw Al Sharpton, he was on a podium talking about we don't need to fly commercial because we can fly Tyler Perry's private jet. That's when it hit her. Maybe his silence wasn't a coincidence after all. That detail sent shockwaves through social media. Fans started connecting dots and wondering if Perry's power was protecting him from the fallout. Meanwhile, Tyler Perry has stayed completely silent, never addressing the alleged recording or the decades-long tension between him and Monique. It's like he's hoping the storm will blow over, but Monique's not letting that happen. She's taken her fight public, and even on the road. During Cat Williams' Dark Matter comedy tour, Monique didn't hold back. According to reports, she used her time on stage to call out both Oprah and Perry directly, naming names and firing shots. And she didn't just vent, she rallied the crowd. TMZ reported that Monique got the audience involved, leading chants against the two moguls and calling them out for what she saw as fake support of black artists. At one point, she even urged fans to repeat after her, labeling Oprah and Perry con artists for how they'd handled her situation. Yeah, she said that out loud and clear. Monique's energy that night was fierce, raw emotion mixed with years of frustration. She wasn't cracking jokes, she was unloading truth bombs. Whether people agree with her or not, one thing's clear, she's done staying quiet. And while Perry keeps silent, hoping to move past the controversy, Monique's making sure her side of the story gets heard. One stage, one mic, one city at a time. Monique isn't backing down, not one bit. She's thrown down the gauntlet in front of Oprah and Tyler Perry, daring them to face her in the open. It's like she's saying, I'm done playing nice, and the world is just watching, waiting for the next move in this heavyweight showdown.
What is that black dick connected to? That black man? So no, I was not blackballed. I was whiteballed. By some black dicks who had no balls. Thank you, Mr. Lee Daniels. Thank you, Mr. Tyler Perry. Thank you, Miss Oprah Winfrey. No, baby, I wasn't blackballed. I was up by some who had no balls. And see, I know they like to say, Monique, you talk to motherfucker. It would kill me not to say the real shit. It would kill me not to say the real shit. You are not paying me equally. You are not treating me fairly. So y'all can suck if I had one.
On stage, she didn't hold back, not even a little. You, Oprah Winfrey. You, Tyler Perry. She shouted to the crowd, her voice full of fire. Then she got the audience hyped up saying, say it with me. Some fans jumped right in, but others hesitated, and Monique noticed. So what did she do? She called them out right there on the spot, teasing the ones who were too scared to join in, but in a twist no one saw coming. She said it all came from love. She claimed that her truth-telling wasn't hate, it was about accountability. But let's be real, that didn't stop her from going straight for the jugular. She started throwing shade at Oprah's inner circle, calling out her longtime best friend Gayle King. Then she dropped a bombshell, hinting that Oprah and Gayle's friendship might be a little more than just friendship. The audience gasped. Monique had everyone in that venue hanging on every single word. She made it crystal clear. She's not afraid of anyone. I'm too grown to be scared of this. I'm too old to be intimidated by this. I'm too old to hold the truth, she declared, her voice shaking with emotion. And the crowd ate it up. Some people cheered like it was a revolution. Others looked nervous, unsure if they were witnessing comedy or a public reckoning. Clips from that performance exploded across social media. One user on X reposted a clip saying, Monique still got that grudge for real. Another wrote, she went ham. But honestly, how would you feel if two people who were supposed to be your friends messed with your bag? People were debating hard. Some backed Monique's passion. Others said it was time to let the past die. One commenter said, you can tell people are scared to laugh because the truth is muffled nowadays. Another replied, I love Monique, but she's too grown to still be holding on to this drama. Let it go. And someone else chimed in, I get it, they wronged her. But why make paying fans sit through another round of the same story? They came to laugh, not listen to therapy on stage. So yeah, opinions were split. Some saw Monique as a truth teller standing her ground. Others saw her as someone stuck in the past. But guess who's not telling her to move on? Eddie Murphy. Murphy's not just watching from the sidelines, he's riding with her all the way. He believes Monique was done dirty and has every right to call it out. From his point of view, this isn't about bitterness, rather it's about justice. After all, she didn't just lose opportunities, she lost nearly a decade of her career because of the fallout with Oprah, and especially Tyler Perry. To Murphy, this is bigger than personal grudges. It's about power. Who gets to tell the truth and who gets punished for it? He's been around long enough to recognize when someone's being blackballed, and he's not afraid to say it out loud. He's basically reminding everyone that healing isn't always as simple as move on when you've been wronged that deeply. But that's not even the full reason Eddie's angry with Perry. Oh no, this goes way beyond Monique, because Monique wasn't the first to feel Perry's heavy hand. There's another moment that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and Eddie hasn't forgotten about it either. Let's rewind a bit. This happened just days before Tyler Perry opened his massive new production studio in Atlanta, a historic event that was supposed to celebrate Black excellence in entertainment. The buzz was insane. Everyone from Beyonce to Denzel was expected to attend. But while the cameras were flashing and the champagne was chilling, something shady was happening behind the scenes. Right before the big launch, Perry fired 4 of his writers out of nowhere. That's right, he gave the boot to Lamont Farrell, Kelly Griffin, Christopher Moore, and Terry Brown. All 4 had been working on Perry's hit TBS sitcom House of Pain, which had built a loyal audience. And these weren't just rookie writers either. They were seasoned, award-winning creatives. Farrell, for instance, was a Temple University alum who'd written for hit shows like Girlfriends, Moshe, and The Parenthood. All legit WGA Writers Guild of America programs. So what happened? According to insiders, it was because they got involved in a WGA organizing effort trying to get Perry's shows to go union so writers could get fair pay and benefits. Yep, they were standing up for themselves, and apparently that was enough to get them fired. Lamont Farrell later said, "I'm a member of the WGA. I knew Tyler's show wasn't a union show when I took the job, but there was talk that it could possibly go union. Sounds reasonable, right? But apparently Perry wasn't having it. His productions have always been known for operating independently, meaning he didn't have to follow certain union rules. And when the writers pushed for change, that independence turned into a weapon against them. To Eddie Murphy, that kind of move said everything. Because if Perry could allegedly cut loose a group of black writers for standing up for fair treatment, what else was he capable of doing to others who challenged his system? And now, with Monique's story in the mix, Murphy's patience has officially run out. He's seeing a pattern, one where anyone who dares to speak up or demand fair treatment somehow ends up on the outside looking in. And that's the kind of Hollywood power play Murphy's no longer willing to ignore. Now here's where the whole thing starts to look real messy. The fired writers began speaking out, and what they revealed about Tyler Perry Studios wasn't pretty. They said they'd been asking for something simple, the right to unionize. For years, they'd been grinding hard writing House of Pain episodes, but without health benefits, pensions, or even basic union wages. Imagine that, working on a hit cable sitcom and still getting paid less than the industry standard. Lamont Farrell explained that he and the others had been asking Perry to let the show go union so writers could finally get fair treatment. "We weren't asking for anything crazy," he said. "We just wanted what most writers already have, health insurance, dental, and a pension plan. Seems fair, right?" But instead of progress, things got complicated fast. The company behind House of Pain claimed the writers were fired for just cause. But the Writers Guild of America, WGA, wasn't buying that story. According to them, the real reason those writers lost their jobs was because they got involved in a union organizing effort. Basically, they stood up and got shut down. The WGA said the trouble started long before the firings. Farrell, Kelly Griffin, Christopher Moore, and Terry Brown Jackson, all award-winning writers, were among a group of 7 who tried negotiating the first ever WGA contract with Perry's production company. This was the same team behind House of Pain and the then upcoming Meet the Browns. But guess what? No contract was ever signed. The talks went nowhere, and instead of rewarding their loyalty, Perry's company cut them loose. According to the WGA, that move wasn't about bad work. It was retaliation, plain and simple. Now let's flip to Perry's side of the story. His attorney, Matt Johnson, told reporters that the writers were fired because of poor performance, but that explanation didn't exactly add up. These weren't rookies. These were the same people who had already written over 100 episodes of Perry's hit sitcom, which had become a syndicated success on Fox. And here's where the numbers don't lie. Out of the 7 writers who pushed for a union contract, only 4 were fired, while 3 others were invited to stay on, and 2 even continued working. So clearly something else was going on behind the scenes. The logic just didn't hold. Lamont Farrell himself told reporters, "Up to that point, we wrote 100 episodes of House of Pain. The show won 3 Image Awards, including Best Comedy on Television. We just done a table read in Atlanta with Tyler and the cast, and everyone gave us a standing ovation for the scripts. Tyler even told us, 'These are golden.' That was a week before he fired us." He went on to say the decision made no sense. "You wouldn't bring people back for another season if you weren't happy with their work," Farrell said. "TBS ordered 26 more episodes. We wrote 16 of them. Then suddenly we're all out the door? It just didn't add up." But what Perry allegedly did next had people fuming. Farrell revealed that the very next day after firing the writers, Perry called the WGA and announced he wanted to go union. "He fired us on Monday," Farrell said. "Then Tuesday morning he wanted to go union. It felt like a slap in the face, like he was saying, 'I'll do it on my terms, not yours.'" That move made headlines across Hollywood and stirred outrage online. Fans and writers flooded social media with angry posts, calling Perry's actions cold and calculated. One viral post read, "Never forget when the DA had to picket Tyler Perry Studios after he fired his writers for trying to unionize." And that wasn't even the end of the backlash. Critics started re-examining Perry's entire empire, and one voice in particular made waves. Cultural critic Jamila Lemieux decided she couldn't stay quiet anymore. She penned a fiery open letter to Tyler Perry, and NPR decided it was powerful enough to publish. She didn't sugarcoat a thing. Lemieux called Perry out directly, accusing him of using harmful stereotypes in his films and shows that hurt the same black audiences he claimed to uplift. She basically said, "You built an empire off black pain and trauma, and now you're profiting from it." In her letter, she broke down how Perry's stories often leaned on one-dimensional portrayals: the angry black woman, the cheating husband, the saintly matriarch, and how those cliches were doing more harm than good. She wasn't the only one who felt that way either. Many in the Black creative community began echoing her concerns, questioning whether Perry's independent empire was actually helping or hurting the culture. So while Perry's public image was all about Black excellence, more and more people were starting to see cracks in that narrative. Between Monique's feud, the writer firings, and the cultural backlash from critics like Lemieux, it was starting to look like the empire Tyler Perry built might be standing on some shaky ground. And with Eddie Murphy now stepping into the conversation, it feels like Hollywood's power players are finally being forced to face the questions they've dodged for years. The criticism didn't stop with Monique or the fired writers. They kept rolling in. One of the loudest voices came from cultural critic Jamila Lemieux, and she went straight for the heart of Tyler Perry's empire, his Medea character. She said, "The country has laughed at one of the most important members of the Black community, Mother Dear, the beloved matriarch. I just can't quite get with seeing Mother Dear played by a 6'3" man with prosthetic breasts flopping in the wind. Our mothers and grandmothers deserve much more than that." That line hit like a punch to the gut. She wasn't joking. She was calling out what she saw as disrespect disguised as comedy. Lemieux argued that those Medea movies, while funny on the surface, actually made a joke out of the very women who held Black families together through generations. She said, "Heck, our fathers and grandfathers deserve more too." And that part had people thinking maybe she had a point. But then she dropped another bomb. She said, "Mr. Perry, you've told Hollywood's old guard to kiss your backside, and I appreciate that, brother. But many Black folks have expressed some of the same concerns about your work that white critics have." Boom! That one hit Perry right where it hurts, his credibility with the Black community. And just when you thought it couldn't get any heavier, legendary director Spike Lee jumped in. Yeah, that's Spike Lee, the man who built a career telling powerful, complex stories about Black life. He didn't hold back either. Spike straight up called out Perry's stereotypical storytelling, saying Hollywood could level up big time if it stopped relying on one-dimensional portrayals like the ones seen in Perry's biggest hits. Spike made it clear he respected Perry's hustle, but questioned his message. According to him, those over-the-top characters might be making money, but they're not doing much for representation. And Spike wasn't the only one feeling that way. The critiques started coming from all directions.
When I'm hearing all this noise, man, it was crazy because there were no Black people on television. Before diversity became a thing, Tyler Perry was the only one out there for a long time.
People began pointing out something deeper, that Perry's casting choices often seemed to follow a pattern. Many claimed that darker-skinned actors were usually cast as villains, while lighter-skinned or even white characters were painted as saviors or the good ones. Fans online started digging through Perry's filmography, and once they noticed the trend, it became hard to unsee.
I'm not a Tyler Perry fan, so this is what I got to say. It's funny how he got all this money to do everything but the right thing.
Working on a regular network show, they take a whole week to film an episode. Tyler Perry Studios, they film an episode in one day.
Even Chris Rock stepped into the conversation. He called out how Perry's films rarely show loving, respectful Black men with darker skin tones. He joked, "There's not a whole lot of kind and respectful dark-skinned boyfriends in Tyler Perry's movies." And then he hit Perry with a curveball of a comparison, saying, "Tupac might have been a political leader if he were alive today. But then again, he might be the bad, dark-skinned boyfriend in a Tyler Perry movie." That line went viral instantly, partly because it was funny, but mostly because it was true to what a lot of people had already been whispering. Between Spike Lee, Chris Rock, and Jamila Lemieux, Perry's image as an untouchable creative genius was starting to take hits from every direction. Eddie Murphy saw all this unfold, the Monique feud, the writer firings, the community criticism, and it only made him dig his heels in deeper. To him, this wasn't just about industry gossip anymore. It was about accountability. He's standing on the side of the artists who feel unheard, the ones who risk everything just to be treated fairly. And now everyone's watching this storm bill, wondering if Perry's silence will protect him, or if this time, even he can't talk his way out of the controversy. Because when legends like Murphy, Rock, and Spike Lee are all circling the same issue, you know something real is going down. So tell us what you think. Is Eddie Murphy right to call Tyler Perry out? Or is Perry just another creative trying to survive in an industry that's quick to tear its own down? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this story, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new deep dive like this one. Until next time, fam, keep it real.
I understand what it's worth doing when the industry is canceling one Black guy. I know what happens when they are going to elevate another.
I'm thin! I'm thin! Look at my cheekbones!
Tyler Perry might be one of Hollywood's most powerful moguls, but Eddie Murphy, he's the kind of legend that makes even giants shake. And according to Cat Williams, Perry isn't just keeping his distance, he's flat out scared of him.
I would love to work with Eddie. Eddie won't return my call.
But why? What kind of secret weight does Eddie carry that could rattle a billionaire with an empire as wide-reaching as Perry's? Cat swears the answer lies deep in the elite inner circle of Hollywood, the kind of circle where careers are made and destroyed overnight.
Tyler Perry told his male actors they're not allowed to consort with me because I saw you at a Diddy party, Tyler. And you were having a glorious time.
And if the truth ever leaked, it could bring the whole machine crashing down. This isn't just beef. This feels like a bombshell waiting to explode. Eddie Murphy's name alone carries more weight than most studios combined. He isn't just funny, he's history, culture, and dominance rolled into one. When Cat Williams boldly claimed, Tyler Perry is scared of Eddie Murphy, it sounded wild at first, but the deeper you dig, the clearer it gets. Eddie doesn't just play the game, he rewrote the rules. Think about it. Eddie Murphy's rise wasn't handed to him in backroom deals or PR stunts. He forced his way in with sheer talent. By 19, he had Saturday Night Live gasping for air, dragging the show back from the edge of death with characters that instantly became iconic. From 48 Hours to Coming to America to Beverly Hills Cop, these weren't just hits. They were cultural earthquakes that shifted comedy forever. Eddie wasn't just part of the culture. He was the culture. Cat sees Eddie as untouchable, the kind of superstar you can't duplicate no matter how much Hollywood tries to manufacture one. And maybe that's the real reason Perry keeps his guard up. Tyler Perry may have conquered the industry, but he did it by carefully strategizing every move. His empire wasn't built on unpredictable raw talent, it was built on calculated branding. Characters like Medea were designed with precision, aimed at church-going audiences who gave Perry loyalty and millions in return. But that's exactly the difference. Eddie's stardom was organic, chaotic, and unstoppable, while Perry's power was engineered, packaged, and sold. And when those two worlds collide, that's where the fear creeps in. What Perry stacks in dollars, Murphy stacks in legacy. And that's the one thing money can't buy. No billion-dollar empire can erase rejection, especially when the man doing the rejecting is Eddie Murphy himself. That silence cuts deeper than any headline because Eddie isn't just brushing off a script, he's brushing off one of the most powerful black moguls in entertainment. That kind of dismissal speaks louder than words. Cat Williams says Eddie's silence is no accident. Eddie doesn't need Hollywood favors or backroom deals. He doesn't play the game because he won it decades ago. He climbed to the top on his own terms and never looked back. While Tyler Perry built his dynasty with studios, streaming contracts, and a formula he can recycle for profit, Eddie Murphy carries the one thing Perry can never manufacture: authenticity. The kind that makes entire rooms fall silent the moment he walks in. It's not just jealousy, it's identity. Eddie never watered himself down for acceptance. But Tyler, critics accuse him of hiding behind costumes, pushing narrow narratives, and playing safe just to keep white Hollywood execs comfortable. Eddie doesn't need a wig, a dress, or a moral sermon to dominate a stage. All he needs is a mic, a smirk, or a single line, and suddenly, Perry's carefully controlled empire looks shaky. That's why Tyler's nervous, because Eddie Murphy is untouchable in ways Perry can never be. And here's where it gets explosive. Cat claims Tyler's fear isn't just professional, it's personal. He says Perry has a secret he's been hiding for years.
Tyler Perry is gay. I know he's gay. He knows he's gay. We all have friends that know he's gay. I've hung around Tyler Perry. I've known Tyler Perry for years.
A truth that clashes with the family values empire he's built through Medea. According to Cat, the contradiction is glaring. A man preaching virtue on screen while allegedly living a life off screen that doesn't match the script. But Cat doesn't stop there. He claims Perry doesn't just guard his own image, he uses his power to control others too. Word is, Tyler even warned male actors to stay away from Jaguar Wright. Why? Because Jaguar supposedly saw things. And if that's true, it's not just about image. It's about keeping the wrong people quiet before the wrong secrets get out. Jaguar Wright swears she saw it all, the late-night parties, the hush-hush dealings, the fear behind the smiles. And this isn't just Hollywood gossip. Cat Williams frames it like a whistleblower moment. Wright's words sketch a picture of Tyler Perry as a man so desperate to protect his polished image that he'll block, silence, and sideline anyone who dares to spill the truth.
Tyler Perry told his male actors they're not allowed to consort with me because I saw you at a Diddy party, Tyler. And you were having a glorious time.
And the scariest part? Cat says he's doing it out of fear. Fear of what Eddie Murphy represents. Because Eddie isn't just another celebrity. He's a free black man in Hollywood, the rare kind who doesn't owe his fame, his career, or his success to any studio, handler, or hidden agenda.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time.
He's untouchable in a system built on control. That's exactly what rattles people like Perry. Now, some might dismiss this as conspiracy talk, but Cat is dead serious. He says that when you go against Hollywood's machine, the power brokers, the handlers, the image makers, you don't get celebrated, you get punished, blackballed, silenced, erased. And Eddie Murphy, he's living proof of it. Think about it. Eddie is one of the most gifted performers the industry has ever seen. Decades of box office domination, culture-shifting films, and characters that defined entire generations. Yet despite all of that, Hollywood's biggest gatekeepers keep their awards locked tight. Eddie's only Oscar nomination came for Dreamgirls back in 2006, and Eddie himself once admitted he didn't even put much effort into that role. If that's not a slap in the face, what is? Director Craig Brewer, who worked with Eddie on Coming to America, spilled the truth in a podcast. He described Eddie as a perfectionist, sitting in makeup for hours, rehearsing scenes with military precision, slipping into characters like a surgeon. The man works like a machine, but Hollywood doesn't see his craft. They pretend it's just easy. They reduce him to a comedian cracking jokes instead of an artist building legacy. And that's no accident. That's a strategy.
And I sometimes get angry at awards institutions because I think they think that comedy is easy.
Eddie's comedy wasn't just funny, it was revolutionary. His films weren't just successful, they redefined culture. But Hollywood, with its obsession with white validation, refuses to acknowledge his genius. They laugh at him but never lift him up. And while Eddie's genius gets snubbed, guess who gets applause, awards, and constant elevation? Tyler Perry.
I am deeply, deeply honored to present the 2019 BET Ultimate Icon Award to my dear, dear friend, Mr. Tyler Perry.
Despite years of backlash from fans, actors, and even scholars for recycling stereotypes, trauma, and tired tropes, Hollywood still rolled out the red carpet for Tyler Perry. In 2021, they even handed him the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award at the Oscars, an honor meant to celebrate vision and integrity.
I know you never do what you do for thanks, but I am grateful for the countless ways you work to make ours a better world. It is my honor to present to you the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award.
Meanwhile, Eddie Murphy, the man who revolutionized comedy, smashed barriers, and changed how black talent was viewed forever, remains practically invisible when it comes to real industry recognition. That's not just bias, that's the machine showing its hand. It rewards obedience and sidelines rebellion. Cat Williams says it bluntly. Perry's power only exists because he plays the game. He's safe, controllable, predictable. His films don't rock the system, they comfort it. But Eddie has always refused to be anyone's pawn. He skips red carpets, he ducks interviews, he'll walk away from projects the second they don't feel right, and that refusal to bend, Hollywood hates it. So instead of applause, they withheld their stamp of approval, hoping Eddie would eventually fade into the background, but Eddie never faded. He only created classics. The Nutty Professor, Coming to America, Harlem Nights, these weren't just comedies, they were cultural milestones. Films led by all black casts, powered by raw brilliance, unapologetic, and timeless.
I'm thin! Look at my cheekbones!
Perry's movies may have brought in big checks, but critics say they leaned heavy on caricatures, trauma plots, and narrow depictions of black life. So yeah, Perry's successful, but at what cost to representation? That's the contrast Cat Williams is screaming about, an industry that sidelines raw genius while elevating watered-down, stereotype-heavy content. And that's why he insists Perry fears Eddie Murphy, because Eddie doesn't wait for permission to shine, he just shines. And he's been doing it flawlessly for 40 years, with or without an Oscar, proving that legacy beats accolades every time. But while Eddie was ignored, Hollywood anointed someone else as the face of acceptable black success, Tyler Perry. He got the awards, the platforms, the praise. But the real question isn't just why him, it's what did it cost? Because even as the industry celebrated Perry, the very people who helped build his empire started pulling away. Take Mo'Nique, for example. Fresh off her Oscar win for Precious, her career should have skyrocketed. Instead, it collapsed, because after daring to stand her ground, she was branded difficult. Mo'Nique made one thing clear: she wasn't contractually bound to do unpaid international press for Precious. She stuck to her domestic obligations and refused to go beyond that for free, and that's when everything changed. Behind the scenes, she says the knives came out. Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels allegedly banded together to blackball her from Hollywood. Perry, in particular, is accused of spreading lies to executives, branding her difficult and uncooperative, even though, according to Mo'Nique, he later admitted in private that he made it up. The problem? He never corrected the story in public. And that lie cost her everything. Before the fallout, Mo'Nique says she was earning $2 to $3 million a year. Do the math over a decade of exile. That's tens of millions gone. All based on a smear campaign Perry could have shut down with one statement, but didn't. But the money wasn't even the worst wound. The deepest cut came from Oprah. Mo'Nique says she confided in her about a painful, fractured relationship with her estranged parents. Instead of protecting that trust, Oprah blindsided her, bringing those very parents onto her talk show for ratings. Mo'Nique called it the ultimate betrayal. And when the backlash hit, Oprah didn't give a real apology. She gave a vague, indirect line on a group panel. "If I've done anything wrong, I apologize to Mo'Nique." That wasn't an apology, that was deflection. And it didn't stop there. During the Precious promo run, Mo'Nique claims Tyler Perry lured her into a private meeting. His whole staff allegedly cleared the room the second the door shut, like they'd seen this setup before. Mo'Nique brought her own security in, just in case. Inside, Perry allegedly pressured her to do unpaid press, dangling promises of a future payday in the range of $3 to $8 million. When she refused, he backed off in the moment. But soon after, he allegedly joined forces to smear her reputation across the industry. The betrayal ran deep. Even Oprah's longtime makeup artist Reggie Wells later claimed he overheard Oprah say she'd never pay Mo'Nique a dime, even though she knew Mo'Nique had earned it. Mo'Nique says she doesn't want pity. She wants the truth on record. She wants Tyler Perry and Oprah to admit publicly what they admitted privately, that they were wrong, that they lied, and that they cost her millions. And if they want to make it right, she says they need to do it under the same spotlight they used to ruin her name. Mo'Nique wasn't the only one demanding answers. Even seasoned vets like Tichina Arnold, respected by execs, loved by fans, and a certified trailblazer, have been pulling the curtain back. She's not just speaking on her own battles with unfair pay, she's calling out the broader pattern. Black women in Hollywood doing the heavy lifting, carrying the stories and then getting pushed aside. And here's the twist: Tyler Perry, the same man who built his empire off telling their stories, is now one of the very names tied to their frustrations. That's the sting. For years, Perry painted himself as the savior of black actresses, the one giving them jobs when nobody else would. But lately, those same women are pushing back. They're tired of the stereotypes, the one-note roles, the endless cycle of pain without healing. Broken, bitter, abandoned. That's the box too many of Perry's female characters live in. And actresses are done being grateful for scraps while the men in power eat full plates. This goes right back to Cat Williams' warning. Power doesn't mean a thing if the very people who once supported you now see you as the problem. Tyler Perry might have studios and billion-dollar streaming deals, but Eddie Murphy, he's got respect. And more women are following Eddie's lead, choosing dignity over exposure, even if it means fewer roles. Because these days, being in a Tyler Perry movie isn't the badge of honor it once was. And here's where things get darker. The whispers about Perry used to be brushed off, just gossip, jokes, unproven rumors. But that was before the walls started closing in on Diddy. Now the floodgates are open, with lawsuits, federal investigations, and exposés blowing up his alleged freak-off parties. Former employees, bodyguards, and even guests are spilling tea, and in those stories, one name keeps popping up more than anyone expected: Tyler Perry. Allegedly a regular attendee, his name is starting to surface in ways Hollywood can't just laugh off anymore. The question hanging in the air is no longer if people are talking, it's how much longer can Perry dodge the storm now that the spotlight is creeping his way. Jaguar didn't mince words, she said it flat out. Tyler Perry was there, and not just once. According to Cat Williams, these weren't your average Hollywood mixers. These were secret, locked-down gatherings. No phones, no cameras, no women. Just powerful men, expensive drinks, and a code of silence so tight it could bury careers. Cat says he felt the darkness firsthand. He claims that one night after trying to leave early, Diddy personally followed him, offering a drink laced with strange remarks that made Cat deeply uncomfortable. Cat refused, walked away, and that's when the threat dropped. A chilling warning about his career. That's the moment Cat says he realized why so many stars keep their mouths shut. But here's where it gets dangerous. Rumors swirl that video evidence from one of Diddy's infamous parties could put Tyler Perry right at the scene. Perry may be trying to act unbothered, waiting for the storm to pass, but the whispers are getting louder. Diddy's own ex-bodyguard, Gene Deal, has hinted that real dirt is about to surface. And if tapes exist, Perry could find himself right in the blast zone.
But all this is bigger than Diddy. It's bigger than Diddy, bro. Because you know who else they was doing investigation on?
Hollywood insiders are already speculating. If Diddy goes down, he's not going alone. Somebody's getting sacrificed to save the empire. And with Perry's name popping up in every other whisper, some think he might be first in line for the bus.
And he got to put something together real soon because they're not playing with him. He has to put something together real soon and say, yo, listen to me. I know this, I know that. It's way bigger than Diddy.
Even Ice Cube, a man who rarely names names, dropped a cryptic warning about Hollywood's power plays. People are very polarized in all kinds of ways. People are afraid to speak out. And when Ice Cube talks about fear, you know the danger is real. Because here's the truth. Hollywood thrives on silence, relationships, and shadow deals made in rooms nobody's supposed to know about. But now, those rooms are leaking if the footage from Diddy's gatherings is real. Perry's carefully polished career might not survive the fallout. This time, it's not just rumors. It's lawsuits, paperwork, and federal eyes locked on the scene. And Cat, he already gave us the roadmap years ago. We just didn't want to believe him. Now, as the spotlight burns hotter on Perry's personal life, people are revisiting his work with fresh suspicion. They're not praising it, they're questioning it. Because for a man celebrated as the storyteller of the Black experience, Perry's empire seems built on a formula that repeats over and over. Women broken, bruised, abandoned, and men holding the power. Abusive men, broken women, trauma that never heals. It's the formula that keeps popping up in Tyler Perry's work. Film after film, show after show, the cycle repeats, and the question screams louder each time. Why does Perry keep recycling these same stereotypes? Take Diary of a Mad Black Woman, one of his most famous movies. Steve Harris played Charles McCarter, a wealthy lawyer who wasn't just flawed, he was cruel. He confessed to his wife Helen that he had another woman, then tossed her out of their home like she was nothing. Or look at Blair Underwood's role as Carlos, a controlling, arrogant investment banker who crushed his girlfriend's spirit under his thumb. Different movie, same narrative. Black women suffering at the hands of men who embody every toxic stereotype in the book. Blair Underwood himself has spoken about these patterns.
Must be out your mind.
With a career spanning back to the 1980s, he knows firsthand the limited, one-dimensional roles Hollywood often handed to Black actors. He even recalled his encounters with Sidney Poitier, a reminder of how little variety was offered back then.
And of course, this is what the kids are now calling a Blassic movie. Black classic movie. Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? They're so
I heard that. I like that.
innovative.
A Vlasic movie.
A Vlasic.
Okay.
In the 80s and 90s, Denzel Washington and Blair became the safe bets. But even they faced walls, because nearly every black actor, no matter how skilled, was forced to audition for the exact same roles. Different names, same boxes.
You know, these 4 black women in the hood, and like, now we're gonna do girls in the hood, and there was a little pushback. Like, why they only want to see us as slaves or in the hood and Hollywood.
And Tyler Perry? Instead of breaking that mold, many say he doubled down on it. Over and over, his villains look the same. Black men as abusers, cheaters, criminals, or manipulators.
Yeah, I've been a history buff like most of my life. I love history.
You do?
I don't know a lot about history, but I love.
Philip Van Leer played a drug dealer across multiple seasons of one Perry show.
Ooh, child,
No. Hey, Harry, Brenda, Harry.
Hey.
Harry's a high school coach.
Ion Overman took on the role of Linda Davis in Medea Goes to Jail, a bitter, scheming assistant district attorney who tampered with evidence, filed fraudulent documents, and destroyed lives without remorse. These aren't just one-offs, they're a pattern. Perry's stories keep circling back to betrayal, abuse, and corruption within black families and communities. Sure, the drama sells tickets, but critics argue it also feeds into long-standing stereotypes that Hollywood has pushed for decades. And the real sting, for a man who's been celebrated as a champion of black storytelling, the formula feels less like empowerment and more like exploitation. At the end of the day, Cat wasn't exaggerating. He was exposing how Hollywood really works. People in the business do whatever it takes to stay in favor. And for Tyler Perry, that's meant recycling the same story on repeat. A story that rakes in millions but boxes black women into helpless roles and paints black men as predators and monsters. But the question is, why would a black filmmaker push those narratives so relentlessly? Some believe it's internalized. Others think it's strategy, that Perry knows exactly what white Hollywood wants to see, and he feeds it back on demand. That's why critics say the damage isn't just creative, it's cultural. Young black audiences grow up seeing these stereotypes until they start absorbing them as reality. Viewers get numb, the cycle continues, and Perry just keeps rolling out more scripts. But now, with the spotlight shifting onto his personal life, especially whispers about his alleged ties to Diddy's secretive freak-off scene, people are connecting the dots in ways they never dared before. The man who constantly writes about toxic men and broken women might be closer to those characters than he wants us to believe. And that's the chilling part. Why are Perry's good men always an afterthought? Why do his women never seem to find real healing? Why does pain and betrayal always sit at the center of his stories? There's a theory that Tyler isn't just writing fiction. He's writing what he knows, or at the very least, what he's seen up close. And if that's true, then his movies aren't just drama, they're reflections. So, what if the scripts weren't just stories? What if they've been confessions hiding in plain sight, using Hollywood as the mask? That's the real question that makes his empire so uncomfortable to revisit now. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment with your thoughts. See you on the next one.
What is the status of your baby, your pregnancy, your...
Well, our family exists. We're just beginning it. And we got many kids to have, long way to go.
You will always live here? Why?
It's so cold, it keeps the bad people out.
Oprah thought she had found the perfect weakness to exploit, a newborn with serious health problems. The kind of heartbreaking story that could break even the strongest man on live TV.
I don't know how to pronounce it yet.
You don't even know how to pronounce it?
Yeah. If ever I'm told, you'll be the first to know.
How to pronounce it.
Yeah.
But Prince wasn't just any man. He had been preparing for this moment his entire career. What Oprah didn't know was that his son was dying, and Prince would never let her turn his tragedy into ratings. That silence became his most powerful weapon, and it exposed just how dangerous Oprah could be when the cameras were rolling. By 1996, Oprah Winfrey had already mastered the dark art of tearing down celebrities while disguising it as compassion. Just look at 1993, when she ambushed Michael Jackson at Neverland Ranch. 90 million people tuned in, not to celebrate his genius, but to watch her strip away his dignity piece by piece on live television. She grilled him about his changing face, cornered him about kids, and twisted what should have been a tribute into a full-blown interrogation. Michael trusted her. He opened his home, let her in, showed his heart. But the world didn't see a misunderstood icon. They saw a man cornered, stumbling, made to look suspicious by questions crafted with surgical precision. It wasn't an interview, it was an execution disguised as empathy. And Prince, he watched every second of that takedown like a warning shot. He saw how Oprah's team sliced up Michael's words, edited his honesty into doubt, and weaponized his vulnerability against him. When Michael called after, broken by the betrayal, Prince swore to himself, never again, never let them in. Now it was Prince sitting in Oprah's crosshairs. And this time, the stakes were way bigger than just a name change. This was a fight about power, control, and who really owned the narrative.
Just like Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X, people like that change their name. And some people pick names that are hard to pronounce. It just so happens I picked one that you can't pronounce.
By turning his name into a symbol nobody could even pronounce, Prince created the ultimate rebellion against the media. You can't own what you can't even say. That sign wasn't just a logo. It was a wall between him and the corporations, the interviewers, the whole machine of fame that tried to chain him down. And Oprah's team, they had been circling him for months, desperate to land this sit-down, desperate to break through his fortress. Prince rarely touched television, and when he did, it was on his terms. He picked the spot, wrote the rules, and kept the leash tight. So, of course, it had to be at Paisley Park, his 65,000 square foot kingdom in Minneapolis. This wasn't just a home or studio. It was a fortress, a sanctuary built to keep outsiders at a safe distance while he created freely, untouched by the noise of the world. But the second those cameras flicked on, the tension was thick. Oprah was used to guests chasing her validation, begging for her platform. Instead, she found herself face to face with a man who had spent his whole career rejecting exactly what she represented, turning private pain into public entertainment. Prince knew better than anyone that the media's appetite was bottomless, and the only way to survive was to feed it crumbs, just enough so it didn't eat you alive. The stage was set, two titans in a face-off. Oprah, the queen of prying secrets loose, and Prince, the master of mystery, who refused to be solved. She came loaded with her old playbook, the same one that had shredded celebrity after celebrity for over a decade. Oprah's strategy was simple: probe the weirdness, pick apart the image, and push until the mask slipped. She thought Prince was the perfect prey, a man so eccentric that under the right pressure, he'd fold and reveal his real self. She even baited the audience first. A lot of people think the artist formerly known as Prince is flat out weird. She expected him to get defensive, to stumble, to give her the opening she'd been waiting for.
I understand everything's relative, not weird to me. But,
Yeah.
probably weird.
And you're living in Minneapolis, of all places. You will always live here? Why?
It's so cold, it keeps the bad people out.
But Prince wasn't playing her game. He flipped the script in seconds. First, he coolly reminded her that weird is all about perspective. Then, when Oprah tried to clown him about living in Minneapolis, he turned it into a dagger dressed as a joke. It's so cold, it keeps the bad people out. Boom, the message was clear. The issue wasn't him living in Minneapolis. The issue was the so-called bad people everywhere else. With one line, he shaded the outside world and made it sound effortless. Oprah pushed again, switching gears to the emotional angle that had broken so many others before him. She brought up his provocative tracks: Horny Toad, Jack You Off, Do Me Baby, Waiting for Shame or Regret to Crack His Armor.
You know, I've written some 1,000-some-odd songs.
But Prince didn't flinch. He calmly reminded her that those were just a handful of songs out of thousands. That wasn't scandal. That was straight up mathematics. Why be ashamed of a few sexual songs when they were just one piece of a massive artistic journey? Instead of cornering him, she found herself nodding along, like she was agreeing with him on national TV. But Oprah wasn't done yet. She still had her ultimate weapon, the kind of direct question that had made even presidents spill their secrets. What do you most want people to know about you? Oprah pressed, leaning in with that trademark intensity that had cracked so many others wide open.
So people think you're weird. They think you're strange. What do you want them to know?
The music.
But Prince wasn't giving her anything real, and that was the genius of it. If people thought he was strange, so what? Their opinions weren't his burden to carry. Every response was a clinic in how to deflect without sounding defensive, a cool masterclass in refusing to play the victim. When she pushed about his creative process, hoping for some juicy psychological reveal, Prince didn't explain a thing. Instead, he walked over to the piano and started playing. He turned her interview into his stage, her questions into background noise, his music becoming the only real answer in the room. Oprah wanted confessions. He gave her melodies. She was digging for vulnerability, but Prince was showcasing strength. She was searching for psychology, but he was handing her artistry. And the wild part? He pulled it off so smoothly that Oprah couldn't even call him out without looking like she'd lost control of her own show. That's when the tone shifted. The energy changed. Oprah went for the kill, pivoting from the mystique of his music to the rawest rumor in his private life. Reports had spread that Prince and Mate's newborn son had been born with devastating health problems. For Oprah, this was the gold mine, the kind of tragic confession that could humanize a celebrity and deliver ratings for the ages. But for Prince, that was the red line. His silence wasn't just refusal, it was protection. This wasn't content. This wasn't entertainment. This was sacred ground, a private heartbreak he would never feed into Oprah's machine.
What is the status of your baby, your pregnancy, your...
Well, our family exists. We're just beginning it. And we got many kids to have. Long way to go.
This was more than an interview. It was a straight-up challenge to the whole gossip machine. Oprah could preach all day about meaningful conversation, but Prince exposed the truth. Her questions, her platform, and the audience's curiosity meant nothing compared to what actually mattered to him. But Oprah wasn't used to being brushed off. Her empire was built on breaking walls down, forcing stars to spill their souls, and turning private pain into primetime moments. She had made Michael Jackson cry on cue. She had Tom Cruise bouncing on her couch like a maniac. She'd convinced A-listers that her set was the ultimate confessional booth. Prince wasn't fooled for a second. Every single follow-up about his baby was met with a calm, firm wall of silence. No anger, no lashing out, no theatrics, just a steady refusal. The more she pressed, the clearer it became. Oprah had finally run into something she almost never faced, a superstar who didn't need her validation. That moment cracked open the whole illusion of celebrity culture in the 90s. Back then, no matter how big you were, you still chased mainstream acceptance. You needed Oprah's couch to win over middle America, her blessing to be more than just another entertainer. But Prince, he'd already torn up that rule book. He had his own label, his own fortress of a studio, his own ways of getting music to the fans. He didn't need Oprah's audience because he'd already built his own. That independence was his secret weapon. While other stars been under pressure, he could stand tall, smile in her face, and simply say no without paying a single price. Prince had already paid in blood and sweat for his artistic freedom during his brutal war with Warner Brothers. After winning that fight, there was no way he was going to surrender his personal privacy just to give Oprah a ratings moment. The subtext of their clash cut deep. Oprah stood for the new age of celebrity, where fame meant you owed the public your whole life. Prince stood for the old school aristocracy of artistry, the belief that true genius doesn't need to explain itself to stay relevant. For him, mystery was part of the art. Why should brilliance have to justify itself just to keep the spotlight? That 1996 sit-down would end up being his last appearance on Oprah's stage, even as her empire grew more powerful in the years after. That wasn't a coincidence. It was a deliberate move by a man who understood the hidden cost of letting mainstream media too close. Not long after, the tragedy Oprah tried to poke at became heartbreakingly clear. Prince and Mate's son, Amir, was born with Pfeiffer syndrome, a rare genetic disorder that affects skull and limb development. He survived just 6 days before complications took him away. The loss shattered both parents, and the grief eventually tore their marriage apart. And here's what Oprah didn't realize. Prince had already seen her destroy someone he cared about. Just 3 years earlier, she ambushed Michael Jackson at Neverland Ranch in what became one of TV's biggest character assassinations. Instead of celebrating his artistry, she grilled him about his face, pressed him about children, and twisted the whole thing into a humiliation spectacle in front of nearly 90 million viewers. That interview was supposed to clear up wild rumors. Michael wanting to become white, endless surgeries, even bizarre claims like him buying the Elephant Man's bones or owning a telepathic monkey. But instead of defending his image, Oprah's interrogation only made the world question him even more. Oprah's questions didn't just sound curious, they came off like accusations.
I'm going to ask you this, and it's embarrassing for me to ask you this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Are you a virgin?
How could you ask me that question?
I just want to know. I want to know.
I'm a gentleman.
She even pushed him about his love life and friendships with kids, sliding in the kind of hints that made fans and even Michael's own family believe she had an agenda to stain his name forever. Prince had already studied that playbook, and he refused to get caught in the same trap. The Emancipation album wasn't only about breaking free from Warner Brothers, it was about breaking free from the whole system that had turned his friend into tabloid bait. Every track across those 3 discs was a battle cry. You can't own what you can't understand, but behind Prince's calm resistance that day was a secret so devastating it could have broken anyone else. Just weeks before, his son Amir had been born with Pfeiffer syndrome, a rare condition that left his tiny body fighting impossible odds. 6 days after birth, the fragile heartbeat Prince had once recorded for his music fell silent forever, and yet there he was, perfectly composed in front of Oprah's cameras, protecting his grief like it was sacred treasure she would never touch. He had seen what happened when stars opened the door to Oprah. She didn't heal wounds, she harvested them. She didn't comfort, she exposed. Every tear became a soundbite, every confession, a headline. Vulnerability wasn't treated as human, it was chopped up, packaged, and sold to the machine. Prince remembered Michael's broken voice after that Neverland ambush, how he called gutted, describing how the edits twisted his words, how honesty only made him look worse. Never again, Michael had whispered. Never let them in. Prince listened. And when Oprah tried prying into his family life, he lived by that code. As the cameras rolled at Paisley Park, his greatest tragedy was happening in real time. But that hospital room where Amir fought for life would never, ever become part of Oprah's show. The grief that would one day shatter Prince's marriage to Mate was locked away, guarded from the woman who had built an empire turning private pain into primetime spectacle. What the cameras didn't capture that night became bigger than the interview itself. Prince's 1996 masterclass in media resistance turned into a blueprint, one that would haunt Oprah for decades. She didn't realize it then, but failing to break Prince meant creating an enemy who would later stand as a shield against her most devastating betrayal. Fast forward 23 years to 2019, Oprah made her boldest move yet against Michael Jackson's legacy. With leaving Neverland, she thought she finally had her perfect weapon. She publicly aligned herself with Wade Robson and James Safechuck, the 2 men who accused the late singer of abuse in the HBO documentary. Not only did she stand by them, but she also hosted a primetime special immediately after the film aired, giving the accusers a stage under the banner Oprah Winfrey Presents After Neverland. And she didn't hold back. Oprah admitted that after watching the documentary herself, she called director Dan Reed and praised him, saying he had captured in a few hours what she had spent 25 years trying to convey across 217 episodes of her talk show. I know people all over the world are going to be in an uproar, debating whether Michael Jackson did these things or not, whether these 2 men are lying or not lying, she told the audience during the taping.
You all did, but you had to keep it a secret.
I didn't think of it as good or bad. It was that old sort of wiring of, if you're caught, your life will be over.
But then she dropped the line that shocked everyone. For me, this moment transcends Michael Jackson. It is much bigger than any one person. This is a moment in time that allows us to see societal corruption. She painted it as a global plague, calling it a scourge on humanity, insisting it was happening everywhere, in families, in communities right now. Meanwhile, The documentary itself was exploding with controversy after its Sundance debut, before airing on HBO in 2 parts. And at the heart of it all were Wade Robson and James Safechuck's claims that Michael had abused them when they were boys, allegations that divided the world like never before. The Jackson family wasn't about to stay silent. They hit HBO with a lawsuit after Leaving Neverland aired, and when Taj and Brandy Jackson, Michael's nephew and niece, sat down with the Tom Joyner Morning Show, they came out swinging. Both insisted their uncle was innocent, blasting the documentary as nothing more than one-sided propaganda. Brandy didn't hold back. She said Oprah's special, right after the 4-hour film, was a complete letdown, calling it a betrayal of journalism itself. Taj piled on, adding, for me, I've seen this before. I was there when she wanted an interview with my grandma and Michael's kids. After his death, she talked about him being misunderstood, but now she does whatever she needs to do for ratings. To me, it's the ultimate betrayal.
She's done that to our family many times, and so we have a different view of Oprah than everyone else does in that sense, because, you know, we've been hurt by her many times in the past.
Meanwhile, Wade Robson and James Safechuck stuck to their claims, painting Michael as having been inhumane to them as kids when they were frequent guests at Neverland Ranch. But Brandy dropped a bombshell of her own. She revealed she dated Robson for 7 years, including the exact period when he claimed Michael was abusing him. She called out the timeline as impossible, saying flat out she knew him too well to believe a word of it. Her words cut deep. He's always been a bit of an opportunist. She suggested Robson wasn't chasing justice, he was chasing money. Going public with those accusations, she claimed, was just another hustle to cash in. Taj backed her up with his own story. He revealed that he personally got Robson and his entire family into Michael's memorial service when they begged to attend. And now, years later, those same people were accusing his uncle of unspeakable things. Taj's frustration boiled over. It makes me more angry than anything because these guys are pulling one on the public, and they're getting over. The motivation is strictly money. They've got an appeal right now for hundreds of millions of dollars, Todd Jackson revealed on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. They were denied, and now they're appealing. They have every reason to sway public opinion. It makes their case look stronger. Taj backed him up, adding that he was already working on a documentary to tear apart the claims against his uncle, and fans weren't staying quiet either. Many turned their frustration toward Oprah, accusing her of exploiting Michael while conveniently protecting other powerful figures, like Harvey Weinstein, who would later be exposed and convicted of serious crimes. The criticism was sharp. If Oprah claimed she was about accountability, then why didn't she keep that same fire for everyone else? Why was Michael the one singled out for public execution? And this is where Prince's old warning suddenly looked like prophecy. That one offhand joke about Minneapolis being too cold for the bad people carried a hidden truth. Distance from the machine was the only real protection.
You will always live here? Why?
It's so cold, it keeps the bad people out.
Michael tried to build that distance at Neverland, but his fatal mistake was letting Oprah step inside. Prince never gave her that opening, and he stayed untouchable because of it. But by the time the Jackson family faced Leaving Neverland, they were ready. They had learned from Prince's playbook, and they didn't drown in emotional rebuttals or cry for sympathy. Instead, they calmly pointed to the money trail. Wade Robson and James Safechuck had lawsuits against the estate worth hundreds of millions. They broke down the holes in the accusers' timelines. They stayed composed, letting the contradictions speak louder than anger. And then came Brandy Jackson, Michael's niece, who had dated Wade Robson for 7 years. Her testimony landed like a knockout punch, cutting through the noise and shaking the credibility of the entire story. He's always been a bit of an opportunist. He knows how to slide into situations that will benefit him financially. Brandy had seen Wade Robson up close during the exact period he claimed to be suffering, and she swore he was lying. The parallels to Prince's 1996 showdown with Oprah were impossible to ignore. Back then, Prince protected his family's heartbreak from becoming her content. Now, the Jackson family was protecting Michael's legacy from her final attempt at exploitation. They knew the secret. The only way to beat Oprah's tactics was to refuse to play her game. The irony couldn't have been more brutal. In 1996, Prince proved Oprah could be stopped by simply not giving her what she wanted. By 2019, Michael's family used the same strategy to flip the script, exposing her not as a healer, but as the ratings-hungry opportunist she'd always been. For decades, Oprah had built her empire on forcing confessions out of vulnerable stars. But this time, she was up against something even stronger, the family of a legend who refused to let her rewrite history. The soft, sly way Prince had deflected her in that Minneapolis studio became the blueprint for her biggest public relations disaster years later. Prince showed the world that mystery outshines confession, that boundaries are stronger than vulnerability, and that true artistry survives any scandal. As long as the artist refuses to surrender their humanity to the machine. The night Oprah found out she couldn't break Prince became the playbook for how to defeat her forever. Sometimes all it takes is the power to say no and mean it. And that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you on the next one.
What is that black dick connected to? That black man? So no, I was not blackballed. I was whiteballed. By some black dick who had no balls. Thank you, Mr. Lee Daniels. Thank you, Mr. Tyler Perry. Thank you, Miss Oprah Winfrey. No, baby, I wasn't blackballed. I said no balls. And see, I know they like to say, Monique, you talk too much. It would kill me not to say the real.
I would love to work with Eddie. Eddie won't return my calls.
Remember when I said earlier, I've never seen so many cowards and black men in this business? I would have to put my brother Tyler Perry in that. And I'm gonna tell you why I say that. See, when I see you do a clip and you go to T.D. Jakes' church, and I watch you write a check for $1 million in front of the congregation, and you give it to this man, was that for the congregation to give more money? Or was that really genuine?
Oprah, I'm not going anywhere until y'all take accountability and fix it.
Eddie Murphy isn't the kind of man to bite his tongue when it comes to Hollywood's dark secrets. This time, he's calling out the game for what it really is. A slick system where power players protect their image while burying the truth. According to Eddie, there's a reason why Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry get tense every single time Monique's name comes up. And it's not because she's loud or rebellious. He claims it's way deeper than that. Eddie says Monique's not just talking, she's sitting on proof, real conversations, recordings, and receipts that could flip Hollywood upside down. He's basically saying that Oprah and Tyler aren't scared of Monique's words. They're scared of her evidence. Because in Eddie's eyes, Monique is the one person who's got nothing left to lose and everything to expose. She stood her ground when she called them out, and the industry wasted no time trying to destroy her reputation, painting her as angry, bitter, and hard to work with. But Eddie's not buying it one bit. He says if Monique was all talk, she'd have been forgotten years ago. Instead, these two giants, Oprah and Tyler, keep dancing around her name like it's a live wire waiting to explode. That alone tells Eddie everything he needs to know. Monique's truth hits where it hurts. Eddie drops more heat, hinting that Tyler Perry has more to lose than anyone realizes. His carefully built empire, full of faith-based films, feel-good stories, and billionaire branding, might not be as squeaky clean as it seems. Behind the scenes, Eddie claims there are deals, private meetings, and quiet power plays that could leave serious cracks in his reputation if they ever saw the light of day. And Oprah, she's not out of the line of fire either. Eddie hints she's been fully aware of her role in silencing Monique, and if those hidden conversations come to light, her America's favorite talk show queen image might never recover.
Oprah, I'm not going anywhere until y'all take accountability and fix it. Y'all messed with my livelihood, which messes with my family. Never would I do that to anyone. So until they fix it, I won't back.
Eddie makes one thing clear. Nobody fears someone with nothing to hide. The fact that Oprah and Tyler keep dodging Monique or labeling her as difficult speaks volumes. They're not avoiding her attitude. They're avoiding her truth. In an industry obsessed with perfect images and flawless reputations, Eddie Murphy's message is loud and clear. Monique is the one woman who refuses to bow down. And according to Eddie, that's exactly why the biggest names in Hollywood are trembling behind closed doors. Let's break this down, because this story gets messy real quick. Monique came out the gate swinging, snatching that Oscar for Precious with a performance people still talk about. But when she refused to hop on a plane and do unpaid promo tours, something her contract never required, that one simple no flipped the whole industry against her. Overnight, she went from celebrated to difficult, and that label stuck like glue.
Tyler Perry and I had a conversation at the Hoodie Award. At the time, it was called the Hoodie Award, when they were trying to get me to go do all of this press internationally.
And for those that don't know, who put on that Hoodie Award?
Steve Harvey put on the Hoodie Awards in Vegas, right? So it just makes me smile the way this whole scene went down. So I'm beckoned to go into Tyler Perry's dressing room, right? I'm beckoned. So I go into Tyler Perry's dressing room, and there are about maybe 25 people on Tyler Perry's team. And he does this.
Like that. Okay.
And everyone leaves. Well, I have my security with me. And I looked at my security like, you don't work for Tyler Perry. So my security stayed in the room. So Tyler Perry says to me, listen, you may really want to consider promoting this film, because if you get nominated for an Oscar award, your next film is $3 to $5 million. And if you win it, your next film is $6 to $8 million. I said, Tyler, who are you talking to? I'm a black woman. Where do they pay those type of salaries, brother? I said, what I cannot do, Tyler, is work for free. I've done what I was supposed to do. I cannot go overseas and do this for free, Tyler. So then he goes on about his spiel, you know. I said, well, listen, you can write me the check for me to go overseas. I don't care where the money comes from, but I'm not going to do it for free. He says, well, I don't believe in giving money away for free. I said, I don't believe in working for free, so we on the same.
From that moment, things spiraled. Monique says both Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey, who produced Precious, played a major role in blocking her career. She claims they blackballed her, and soon after, the offers stopped coming. Suddenly, this Oscar winner was treated like she didn't belong in the same room she helped build. But it didn't stop there. Monique dropped a bomb when she revealed she recorded a private call with Tyler Perry himself, and in it, he allegedly admitted it was wrong to brand her difficult when all she did was stand by her deal. According to Monique, that lie didn't just hurt her image. It cost her 12 long years of work and millions in missed paychecks. And she's not looking for some quiet apology in the shadows. She wants them to make it right, publicly, loud enough for the same people who turned their backs on her to hear it. Because in her words, the damage didn't just hit her wallet, it hit her family, her peace, and her name. Now, the Oprah side cuts even deeper. Monique says Oprah went too far when she invited Monique's estranged family, including her brother, who admitted to molesting her as a child, onto her show without asking her first. That kind of betrayal, Monique says it left scars that no apology has ever healed. And while she's since patched things up with Lee Daniels, she's still waiting for Oprah and Tyler to do the same, not in private, but in public where the hurt began. Then we shift gears to Taraji P. Henson, a powerhouse in her own right. From hustle and flow to empire, she's been proving her range and worth nonstop. But even with all that talent, Taraji has been brutally honest about how Hollywood treats black women. She said it plain. It's about money. Are you bankable? She's had to fight tooth and nail to get what she deserves. Here's where Tyler Perry steps back into the picture, this time as the hero. Taraji revealed that for years, she'd been asking for $500,000 per role, and nobody in Hollywood was willing to pay it. Then came Tyler Perry, and he finally wrote that check. He didn't just meet her price, he validated her worth. That payday wasn't just about cash, it was about respect. That move changed everything for Taraji. Once Perry paid her what she was worth, the industry had to catch up. She was no longer taking big roles for small checks. She set a new bar for herself and everyone watching. Now, when you line these two stories side by side, Monique's and Taraji's, the contrast is wild. For Monique, Tyler Perry and Oprah are the ones accused of shutting doors in her face. But for Taraji, Perry was the one opening them. It shows just how tricky Hollywood's power game really is. Who gets lifted up, who gets locked out, and how fast those tables can turn depending on who's writing the checks and who's brave enough to say no. When you really start connecting the dots, this whole situation looks less like coincidence and more like a cold, calculated game. full of exploitation, image control, and fake compassion dressed up as industry love. Monique stood her ground and said no, and it cost her everything. Taraji P. Henson, on the other hand, demanded her worth and got rewarded. And that's the real question Eddie Murphy wants people to think about. Who gets punished? Who gets praised? And why saying one simple no can flip your whole career upside down. According to Monique, Tyler Perry himself is the one who started the rumor that branded her hard to work with. Not gossip, not speculation. Him! And she says she has him on tape admitting it. That's right. Monique says she legally recorded Perry's own words just to protect herself because she knew if she didn't have hard proof, it would always be her word against his. In Hollywood, power usually wins, and Perry's name carries major weight.
And then fast forward. Things, everything kind of comes out with Lee, Oprah, and there's an audio conversation that you guys had with Tyler.
I got a call on my cell, and her and I would just so happen to be standing together. And that's when he called me and looking for Monique to say, hey, I'd like to speak with y'all because I heard your podcast, I could hear the hurt, and you heard the audio.
For the viewers listening, we're gonna play the audio now.
The community is involved, and they want to see how it's gonna play out. Because the community is saying, wait a minute, hold up. We don't know this sister to be no bull. We know she a loudmouth. We know she'll say some to the wall. But what we know about it is she true to her word.
And all I would ask you is two questions. The first question is, did you not just say it was wrong?
Tyler.
Did you not just say it was wrong, Tyler? To say she was difficult for not doing something that she was not contractually obligated to do? Did you not say that you would feel that that was wrong? Or am I missing something?
I absolutely said that, yeah.
So the question I would say is,
is there a number? Taking that back to them was just a huge problem, okay? And I'm listening to David Cowper thing in a minute because I just watched your podcast, and it really broke my heart because number one, I feel you. I feel the sadness that's from you in all of this. And I don't want you to feel that, especially for me. I can't speak for anybody else. But for me, I'm not anyone that wants to hurt or offend anybody, especially you. I think you are brilliantly talented. I think you should have a lot more happening since you led a war. I thought for sure that if you had campaigned and won it and played by their rules, what would happen is in the next deal, you would have gotten more money, millions of dollars, and your career in the film would have been much different. I believe that much in your talent. So in saying all of that, I just say it's just heartbreaking because I don't ever want you to think that I'm out trying to blackball or say anything. Please give me what I say. I'm not trying to hurt you. I would never try to hurt you.
Monique told Shannon that what Tyler did didn't just hurt her, it cost her family tens of millions over the years. Before the fallout, she was pulling in $2 to $3 million annually. But after that difficult label got stamped on her name, the calls stopped coming, movie offers vanished. And even when she was being considered for massive roles like Cookie on Empire, the word came back that she'd been blacklisted as a problem. Imagine that. Now, not losing work because you're untalented or lazy, but because one influential man whispered a lie and let it spread like wildfire. That's career sabotage at the highest level. And when Monique tried to hold him accountable, Tyler allegedly flipped the script, saying he'd only meet with her if her husband, who also manages her, wasn't in the room. That's shady behavior, no question. Think about it. Why block the one person who's been managing and protecting her for years? Why try to isolate her unless you don't want someone calling you out face to face? Monique said it loud. Hollywood doesn't like her husband because he's direct, unfiltered, and won't let them manipulate her. And that's exactly the kind of person people like Perry don't want around when they're being confronted. Here's the wild part. Monique says Perry admitted on tape that he spread a lie about her. And even after that came out, the silence from the industry was deafening. She said big names like Al Sharpton, Kevin Hart, and Stephanie Mills reached out to support her. But then the calls started fading, the meetings stopped, and the partnerships disappeared. Even Kevin Hart, who once publicly said he believed in her, allegedly pulled away after his management got involved. According to Monique, it's the same pattern every time. The minute someone powerful feels threatened, they make sure everyone around the truth teller goes quiet. People who try to stand with you get pushed out, pressured, or straight up silenced.
What is that black to that black man? So no, I was not blackballed. I was whiteballed by some black who had no balls. Thank you, Mr. Lee Daniels. Thank you, Mr. Tyler Perry. Thank you, Mr. Oprah Winfrey. No, baby, I wasn't blackballed. I was some no balls. And see, I know they like to say, Monique, you talk too much. It would kill me not to say the real. Would kill me not to say the real. You are not paying me equally. You are not treating me fairly. So y'all can suck my head.
But here's what makes Monique different. She's not going silent again. She's not backing down, not deleting receipts, and definitely not letting Hollywood rewrite her story this time. She's got the evidence, the experience, and now the attention. And this time, she's coming with everything. What Monique revealed in that interview was straight up chilling. She compared Tyler Perry's actions to being beaten down in public, then having people question why she recorded it instead of focusing on the fact that he admitted what he did. That's the part that hit hardest. The way power flips the script, making the victim defend herself while the one in control plays innocent. She told Shoes to play along, and she's still asking Perry the same question that's been echoing for years.